The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Here we go. Wednesday, Tuesday, August 6th. Almost missed that one. I am AJ Hawk sitting in for the great Pat McAfee. He is at a conference today, guys.
Hot start.
Nice. Hot start. We hit it. Obviously, I'm not Pat McAfee. I'm AJ Hawk sitting in for Pat. He is he's handling some business with ESPN, right, boys?
That's correct.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, he's got to go wheel and deal and talk to the people. I guess formulate their game plan for what happens this year moving forward with football season coming up, right?
Yeah, college football is, less than 3 weeks away.
Wait, okay, I know we made this announcement yesterday. Where is this show going in a couple weeks, I believe, guys?
Dublin.
Yeah, Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin, Ireland, right? So we're doing the show Friday from Ireland.
Correct.
August 24th, 23rd?
23rd, maybe. I think the game's on the 24th.
Okay,
That's
there we
correct.
go. I'm excited for that. And boys, actually, I'm excited to see you guys. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I haven't been here in studio in a while. Connor, stop smirking at me like that.
It's good to see you. What?
It really is good to see everybody here. And obviously, I'm sitting in for Pat. We got, I think when he's on this trip today, he's in this thing with ESPN. You think he wants to be there? You think he wants to go?
Oh, yeah.
He'll enjoy it.
If he didn't want to, he wouldn't be there.
Yeah, you're right. He's going. And Kirk is there and the boys. Saban is on staff now this year. I'm excited for game day. I truly am. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys are all here. 9-year NFL vet.
Yep.
Great. Darius Butler joins us.
Yes,
D-Butt, appreciate you. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, great to see you. Haven't seen you since the draft, so good to see you.
I know. It's been a while, man. Time goes very, very quickly. Talks the table here. Obviously, Boston Connor, I know we talk about your shirts. That one's okay.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Time does go very fast. I mean, whatever. It's in Ohio. But how are you doing? How's your summer been?
It's been great, man. It's crazy.
Months?
It's almost over. You guys said kids start school here around Indy about this week. Yeah, I think next week my kids will start. Obviously, Ty Schmidt, good to see you.
You as well.
Yeah, this is it's great to be back in the saddle a little bit and see you guys. It's fun doing it from the house, but obviously it's a bit it can be isolating at times.
Oh, yeah.
I get up here by myself sometimes
okay?
and realize I don't hear anybody but my own voice. I get to see you guys through the screen, but yeah, of course I'm okay. I'm doing great.
Hell yeah.
Back in the locker room almost.
Yeah, I am kind of back in the locker room. I guess that's what they say you miss. You know what? I'm glad that I'm not in one of these locker rooms with the Lions or the Giants in these teams' practices. Every 5 minutes we have a new clip come up of a new fight. Malik Nabers, he's going at it, man. These guys are battling right here. You see this happened this morning, right, guys?
Yeah. Just happened.
This fight, look at it. I mean, there's legit punches being thrown. This is a real fight. This isn't one of those things like, hey, let's bump chests and let's act like we want to fight. We're actually going at it. Both these teams, man. Unreal here. So what? This Kirby Joseph and Malik Nabers in one of these, but this is just a continuation of what happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yesterday we saw two big scrums, and then we got another one today. Usually you don't see these type of real fights. You maybe see one, maybe two, but then when it carries over to the next day, I feel like at this point, let's get it under control. Dave's and MCDC. It's a little too much at this point. You obviously want to get something out of these joint practices. These teams actually play on Thursday, but when you're just fighting every other period, it seems, I think that's a little too much. You want to see some football. We have seen a lot of good Daniel Jones to Malik Nabers, though. That's been good. And I know Foxy might be a little bit worried about that Lions secondary so far, what we've seen.
Yeah, you should be worried, too. No one kind of came to the defense of Amon-Ra St. Brown here, which is a little interesting, Foxy? But
no, I love what the boys are doing. MCDC boys are always going to fight, and if they aren't fighting, that's when I get worried. So I love everything about Lions camp so far.
The other angle, too. I don't know if we have the other angle of the Kirby Joseph Malik Nabers fight. It just came out, but Malik Nabers was not asking for it, but he was fully expecting a fight.
Yeah, he instigated it big time.
yeah.
Without a doubt.
Mush and then ran off. Don't love that, but I do love the Kirby Joseph response, and Terrion Arnold, who kind of started that fight the day before. You mentioned earlier when you first walk in, him setting that edge, him making a play right there. Hopefully he bodes well for that Lions secondary this year.
Yeah, Fox, I don't know if we have that clip, but Terrion Arnold, he came up and he set the edge, and it was an absolute collision. I believe they said he's not concussed, or was he evaluated for concussion?
Evaluated.
Watch number 0 right here come up here. He does his job. He sends the ball back to his other 10 teammates. That's a nasty shot. He was able to stay on his feet and force the ball back inside. I thought it was a great play, especially by a rookie, especially by a corner who's going to stick his nose in there and set the edge on an absolute mammoth.
You can definitely make a business decision there and take the easy way out. Just go out. Hey, coach, I sent them inside out. But like you said, setting that hard edge and making that ball cut up the field, that's big time for defenders. Love to see it, man. We are close to some real football.
Did he earn his stripes there? Like, he doesn't have to do that again now that he's a rookie? Like, hey, we get it. You don't have to do this anymore?
The A.J. Hawks of the world get paid to set edges and make tackles. The Darius Butlers and Terrion Arnolds of the world get paid to cover and get their hands on the ball. So if he wants to play a long time in the league, he'll try not to do that as much as possible.
Not in practice, at least. Yeah, if you're going to use it, you got to use that in the game.
Yeah,
but also, some guys are wearing Guardian caps, some guys aren't. I know quarterbacks don't wear them if you're not hitting in practice. But what's the deal? Do you have to wear them? Are they mandatory?
I thought they were, especially on the offensive and defensive lines. I thought that was the whole hey, these guys.
I'm not out here trying to be a snitch or something.
No,
I don't think anybody. I don't like them at all. I don't like anybody wearing them. But it's just funny to see this.
Well, and it also looks weird when everyone else is wearing them, but he doesn't, and then he's leading with his head going right in. I don't know, but maybe it is an individual decision. But I was under the impression that all offensive and defensive linemen had to wear them because they have the most head-to-head contact.
Play. Yeah. Every play. I mean, someone we can ask about the Guardian caps is Adam Schefter will be joining us around 12:15. The main thing we want to ask him about, Brandon Aiyuk. Where in the world is this guy going? Con man, you think your New England Patriots are trying to package something together to get him over to your squad?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Patriots, especially these last 2 years, is last year we went after DeAndre Hopkins, and then this year the whole Calvin Ridley situation. So I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but I have now officially gotten to the point where Brandon Aiyuk is a New England Patriot. I was saying to D-Butt before, who cares? This guy's 26. Give him 5 years, $150 million. Give him 30 a year, fully guarantee it. I don't give a shit.
How many picks you got to give, though, to
well,
the Niners?
I mean, here's the thing with the picks. They're talking about the Browns and the Patriots being the two teams, and the Browns offering Amari Cooper in picks and the Patriots offering Kendrick Bourne in picks. But the Amari Cooper deal with Cleveland, that's a very similar situation to what they already have with Aiyuk. Cooper's on the last year of his deal. They get him for 1 year. That's it. With Kendrick Bourne, he's a 3-year guy now. He just signed a 3-year extension with the Patriots, so they're not getting so much of a rental with Kendrick Bourne as they would be with Amari Cooper. It's not a rental. Obviously, you get Amari Cooper for a year. He's an unbelievable wide receiver. Kendrick Bourne, he's coming off a torn ACL, so maybe there is some hesitation there, but Kendrick Bourne also came from San Fran. Familiar with that entire offense, knows Shanahan, has friends in San Francisco that are already on the team. So it isn't the exact same situation, but I would assume it would be like a 2 or a 3. But also, anytime we project these type of deals where a guy is unhappy and wanting to get out of there, we think that there's going to be an absurd amount of picks, and then it ends up being not as much. With L'Jarius Sneed this year with the Chiefs and the Titans deal, he got, franchise tag, Sneed did, and then he didn't want to play on the tag, and then he ended up getting traded for a second and a fourth, and that was it. And he was the number 1 free agent, at least the number 1 corner in free agency.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a chance that if a player like Kendrick Bourne is involved for the Patriots, that maybe you can get away with a 4th-round pick being packaged with a player like that. But I think that the Patriots should be in the front seat here. Granted, Aiyuk can say hey, I'm not going to play.
Can Aiyuk turn it down? Does he have that power?
Yes.
Schefter pretty much said he, kind of has a no
right
trade
refusal,
clause. Basically, I don't want to go there. And obviously, the team wouldn't want to give up those assets if he's not going to sign a long-term deal. But even with the Kendrick Bourne thing, he's not at practice today, right, Connor?
Yeah, today's the first day Kendrick Bourne has not been at practice. And Gerard Mayo actually said in his press conference this morning before practice, hey, me and Kendrick had a good conversation. we're okay, but he is aware of the situation in the business of football. And normally if a coach were to say like, hey, we had a good conversation, don't worry, it would be one of those things like, okay, well, how good of the conversation was. But last week, the same thing happened with Judon, where Mayo was like, we had a good conversation, everything is good, and then Judon actually ended up.
But that was a contract dispute with Kendrick Bourne. He's not saying he's hurt or anything.
No.
So he's strictly not out there because of these trade rumors.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah, not to speculate.
But I mean, Mayo didn't say anything to refute that, right?
No,
like,
not at all.
Say, oh, he's got a hammy or whatever.
No. They asked Mayo like about the Aiyuk kind of deal that is lingering right now, and he kind of just said, "Hey, that's an Elliott Wolf question." But when the Bourne thing got brought up, that is what he said. Like,
let's
hey,
call Elliott. Get Elliott.
I know.
What's going on over there?
He hasn't been doing too much talking. I'm not sure if he's even right now kind of mandatory press conferences or whatever, or if he's open to the media. But I mean, Elliott Wolf has been kind of as far as a Patriots fan go, he's done everything right. Like especially in the draft, they drafted players they needed. Obviously Drake May, but then wide receiver O-line, like that is everything that the Patriots have been looking for the past 3-4 years. So as far as a Patriots fan goes, right now I do have faith in Elliott Wolf getting whatever needs to be done. Now for Kendrick Bourne, like you could see how he could be upset, but at the same time, like how upset are you about going from New England back to where you were from? Like, was drafted by San Francisco. He goes back home to San Francisco. And also, you immediately go from the team that is favored to finish last in the division to a team that is the second favorite to win the Super Bowl. So, like, of course, Kendrick Bourne has been one of the most outspoken pro-Patriots, pro-Bill Belichick, wants to stay in New England, loves everything about it. So that is the tough part as a Patriots fan. You want guys like that, but at the same time, and I said this to you guys before, like there hasn't been a wide receiver like Brandon Aiyuk in New England since Randy Moss, and of course Edelman and guys like that have been there, but Gronk has probably been the only guy close to him, but he plays tight end, and Edelman's a slot receiver. Like we haven't had a pure outside, give this guy 150 targets, deep ball, everything like Brandon Aiyuk since Randy. So that's why, as much as you love Kendrick Bourne, it's kind of one of those things where, hey man, like you're trying to get better at every single position. And with Aiyuk, like you got two rookie wide receivers, Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, that Kendrick Bourne also can be kind of a veteran in the room, of course, but you bring in a guy like Aiyuk who, he didn't have the greatest start to his career, you could say. Like the first couple of years for Aiyuk, it wasn't as if he did what he did last year. Like he can come in as a 26-year-old veteran, still very young, and be that guy.
26-year-old veteron, yeah, with a lot. He's made a ton of plays in this league too.
Yes.
He's only 26 years old
and a lot of experience. Like he's played in 2 Super Bowls. I'm not sure if he was on the first team, but he's played in at least 1 Super Bowl. He's been to multiple NFC championships. Like it is one of those situations where if this deal is on the table and he is willing to do it, like yes, get Brandon Aiyuk to New England, whatever it takes. Now the Judon thing was a conversation yesterday. Like, hey, Judon's not happy. You could trade Judon in this situation where you're losing Kendrick Bourne instead of Judon. That is so much better as a New England Patriots fan, just because of the fact that Judon is such a staple on the defense. But I'm hoping that they get this deal done. Send Bourne. If you have to send a second-round pick, go ahead, but pay him whatever he wants. Like if he wants the $30 million, if you could do a 5-year, $150 million deal,
you want to fully guarantee this whole deal?
I mean, I'm not going to say no, strictly because
of course,
the fact,
it's not your money.
It's not my money, of course, and because like these guys don't come up often.
Right.
Like look around the league, look at the extensions. If we have that extension list that happened to the wide receivers this offseason, it is absurd. A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson. You assume the Jamar Chase deal will get done at some point. Devonta Smith, Tyreek Hill just got extended. Jalen Waddle, like these type of receivers, the top tier, and I would consider at least legit in that top tier. Legit number 1 contender. Here it is. DJ Moore, forgot about him. Like you need to take advantage when you have money, when you have draft picks to trade. You need to take advantage and go get those guys because they don't come up every year. And like the assumption that, hey, well, if you don't get him, T. Higgins was going to be a free agent next year. Like maybe, maybe T. Higgins gets traded. Maybe T. Higgins already wants to go to a specific place and New England won't even be in that conversation. So I'm hoping the Aiyuk deal gets done legitimately within the next hour. And the reason Kendrick Bourne isn't at practice isn't at practice because he's on a flight back to San Francisco as we speak. But That's just where I stand. I'm assuming most of New England does as well, just because the prospect of adding a great player instead of, hoping that one of these rookie wide receivers turns into a great player. Like, you can get a guy immediately that makes your team better immediately. So ideally, this is done now.
Yeah, I guess let's throw back to the hammer down.
Dahn.
There you go. Studios, Tone Diggs. I hear that Bourne is not stretching with the team this year. A little birdie came in my ear and said he's not stretching with the team and he's possibly on the PUP list. Is that real?
Yeah, he is. He started camp on the PUP, but they said he starts every day by stretching with the team and then going to work out on the lower field. Now they're saying it's raining in New England today, so maybe that's a reason he's not there. Or he could be. Or he could be on a plane to 49ers. I don't know. Or
what about the Steelers, bro? I heard the Steelers ran on him, but now they already backed off. Is that true, Tone?
Yeah, so they said they didn't want to meet the demands of the 49ers as far as the trade was concerned, or the trade demands. The only thing the Steelers don't have the piece or the wide receiver like Amari Cooper, Kendrick Bourne. They're obviously looking for a wide receiver if that report is true. The only one that we have that they would want is George Pickens, and the Steelers are not going to trade George Pickens. So if it is a wide receiver that they want in return and they're asking for George, I could see that's why they're out. That's why they're not doing the trade demands, because it wouldn't make sense for them to do that. There was also rumors like Alex Highsmith, which would make sense, but I don't think they're going to trade him either because they love him across TJ Watt. Or, Connor talked to how the Patriots fans are seeing it. We, as Steelers fans, are seeing it. Hey, the Niners leaked this information out on the Browns and the Patriots because they want Omar to up his offer to go there. That's how the Steelers fans are currently
okay, hey, let's go to someone that actually I'm sure knows a lot more than we do. He only has a few minutes because he's they're out there on the ground. Let's go to Adam Schefter, all things ESPN, all things NFL. Mr. Adam Schefter, welcome. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
AJ, how you doing there?
I'm doing well, Schefter. What's going on? Where's Brandon Aiyuk going? Is it already a done deal? He's going to the Patriots or what?
Well, first of all, I don't think the Niners have leaked out anything. I mean, this has been going on here where they've been trying to get a deal done, and I don't think that they've wanted anything out there. This is something that they've tried to keep private, and obviously people doing their jobs find out things and know that the two sides, the Niners and Brandon Aiyuk, have struggled to get a deal done. And the reason that they've struggled to get a deal done has led to these trade talks and the speculation that he could be traded. But it's a very complicated deal to get done. And you have to find a common ground for both Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers, meaning that if any team is going to complete a deal here, they have to satisfy the 49ers' demands for compensation, which could happen, but that same team also has to satisfy Brandon Aiyuk's need and want for a new contract. And so there will be teams out there that can pay Brandon Aiyuk but not compensate the 49ers, and there'll be teams out there that can compensate the 49ers but not pay Brandon Aiyuk. I don't expect Pittsburgh to be a landing spot at all. I think Pittsburgh, like a lot of teams, checks into this. Here's the price it would take from the 49ers. Here's the price it would take from Brandon Aiyuk. And every team has to make a decision about whether or not that would work for them. And inevitably, with most teams, it's not going to work. And that's why it's a hard trade to do. And if you're Brandon Aiyuk, there are going to be limited opportunities. So ultimately, you have to make the decision. Am I better off taking an offer from a team that wouldn't be my first choice to go to? Or am I better off returning to San Francisco, see if the two sides can figure out a way to work out a long-term deal that they have been unable to do throughout the offseason, and play this season on a deal that pays him over $14.125 million. And so the way I'm thinking about it is Brandon Aiyuk has got an unofficial no-trade clause in his contract because he doesn't have to sign a deal with any team. And the Niners don't have to agree to any deal with a team. It's got to work for both sides, and that's why it's a hard deal to get done. Everybody hears, the Niners are listening to offers, and they think, trade on my team, trade on mine. But it's a hard deal to get done. It could happen in an hour, and it could not happen at all.
Schefty, what's going on like right now? Who's talking to who? Who is Aiyuk's agent talking to multiple teams? What are they doing to try to figure this thing out?
Yeah, well, his agent's been trying to find teams that would be willing to pay him. And
what's he want? Do you know what he wants, Schefty?
Well, it's not hard to figure when you look at some of the teams in the league, what they're paying wide receivers. what are the top wide receivers in the league making right now? Right,
There you go.
One.
35 for Justin. But yeah, 20. What do you think he wants around the 28, 29, 30 a year?
North to 28, yeah.
I think you could come up with anything in that range right there and find that to be probably in the neighborhood of what he's going to be looking for from a team.
D-Butt, you got something for Schefter?
Yeah, I see you looking over your shoulder. Are you out there, the Giants? New York
Yeah,
Giants?
we've got the Giants. I got the Giants, Lions, and I got my daughter interviewing some players for Nickelodeon prime time. So I got a few different things going on here.
Yeah, all right, be safe, man. But real quick, I see the Broncos named Jarrett Stidham as their starter. What's the plan with Bo Nix? Is there a way to work him in later in the season, or are they just going with Jarrett and he's the guy going forward?
Well, they put down all rookies on their first depth chart as third string. So all rookies are listed third string. So that's not unusual. I still think that Bo Nix ultimately will be in play to compete for that starting job. Just because he's third string on the depth chart today, I just think that that's the designation that they're giving him. From everything I understand, he's been tremendous at camp. We know how they feel about him. I expect him to make a real push for the starting job in Denver.
Hey, Schefty, did they cut practice short because of all the fights going on, or what? Or should they be practicing right now?
They were supposed to be practicing until 12:15. It ended early, and I don't know that it was timed.
Might be covered up your mic, Schefter.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. 2 straight days, these two teams have gotten into it. Today, there's punches being thrown everywhere. There we go. And so they probably say, you know what, we've seen enough today. Let's call it a day.
Nice. Ty Schmidt has the last one for you, Schefty.
Yes, Schefty, in the Aiyuk situation, I think everyone just kind of assumed that, hey, Amari Cooper would potentially be part of this deal. How would the Browns be able to make this work with their cap? With how much, they just redid almost everyone on the offensive line, it seems. Obviously, everyone knows what Deshaun Watson's cap number is. Like, how are they planning to make this work if Aiyuk were to go there to immediately give him the kind of money that he's looking for?
Yeah, they've spoken to the Browns, and there's been nothing done there at all. So I don't know how Cleveland would do it other than if it were to get done, Cleveland would have a plan to be able to get this done. Sometimes in trades like this, teams pay money down on players. So in this particular case, maybe the Niners are paying some of the money for Brandon Aiyuk or any acquiring player. There's a lot of different ways that these trades are made, but so far, the Browns and Niners have not been able to get it done, and just as important, the Browns and Brandon Aiyuk have not been able to get a deal done. Again, we come back to that, right? You got to satisfy two parties, any team.
There we go.
So all of a sudden, this comes out this morning, and Jet fans, Jets are going to trade for Aiyuk. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. Again, there's cap, there's players, there's teams, there's the individual, and Brandon Aiyuk, like I said, has some say in where he ends up because he could turn down an offer from any team that would like to trade for him.
All right, wait. Schefty, I appreciate it. Make sure you maybe get a helmet on, get a Guardian cap on, protect yourself if they go back on the practice field out there. It's been a lively few days of practice, but thank you so much for giving us some of your time. I know you're all over the place right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter.
Okay, one thing.
One thing.
Big upgrade. Yeah, bless him. Big upgrade without Pat. Big upgrade.
Whoa, come on, Schefter. No, it's not.
Get this guy off. Get him off. Hang on.
Get a new microphone.
Bomb, dude.
Yeah, we got to figure out that mic situation, too.
Yeah,
Al Capaccio.
Prick.
Yeah, call Sal. Sal knows how to
need him.
Anything audio, call Sal Capaccio. Or drumming as well. I know he teaches some of the best drummers in the world how to drum.
Yeah, that makes me think that the Patriots are going to get Aiyuk.
Well,
like even more so now.
What do you mean? He didn't act like super optimistic.
They can meet the needs better than any. Like they can meet the needs better than the Browns can. Like the Browns don't have as much money. And just from the Niners' perspective, and granted, I have no idea. But if you look at the Niners, there's that list of players that they have to decide on with like Kittle and Debo and
their team's going to look different probably a year from now.
Yeah, there's one other. Like with Cooper, you know he can't come back. Like you can't pay Cooper with all those guys. Granted, they could say, you know what, we like Cooper more than Kittle, but I don't see how that could happen. With Bourne, you can keep Bourne and still pay some of those guys.
What if it's a different? What if you trade for a different? It's not a receiver. It's a different position. Possible.
It
doesn't have to be a receiver. The Niners, they drafted Pearsall as well in the first round. Like they're stacked with some wideouts.
True, yeah. Like there are other positions for sure, and depending on what positions they're looking at, maybe that is why New England isn't this deal isn't done. But if it was strictly a wide receiver conversation, they could. Everywhere else, I'm really not sure, but I don't know where else the Niners have a hole to fill. Like if you take out, if you do take out, Aiyuk, where else on that team
would they lose anybody? Who did the Niners lose from last year?
Is Greenlaw still hurt?
Greenlaw is the only one.
When will he be back?
I mean, he tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl.
He's so good.
Yeah,
so good next to Fred. But if the Niners lose Aiyuk, and I know some people may not see it this way, that window may close unless you get like a coup in there, because I like Kendrick Bourne, but you need like a legit one. And like the numbers Aiyuk put up, they're not as gaudy as some of these other receivers kind of mentioned it. He doesn't get the targets.
He's got Christian McCaffrey, he's got George Kittle, he's got everybody.
Exactly. He got so many weapons, everybody's got to eat. So if you put him on a team where he's featured, but if you take him out of that recipe for the Niners, that's a big piece of missing, because that's a guy on the outside that can literally win one-on-ones, 3rd and 7. Like, he's going to win.
All the dirty work, too. I've mentioned it before. Every coach talks about, like, hey, and player, like, Aiyuk does the stuff that nobody wants to do.
Exactly.
Like, he's blocking dudes. He's blocking 50 yards downfield. I'm sure he's catching balls across the middle where you're about to get decapitated, at least, somewhat decapitated, not anymore as much with the rules. But, yeah, look at he's a legit number one. I asked you when I walked in, I said, what is Aiyuk the dude? Is he a guy? He said, yeah, absolutely.
I put him up there, top 7, 8. I got some side eyes, some groans
not
back
for
there.
Me. Not for me,
but when you just look at like his body work, how he runs routes, how he gets open, his catch radius.
I know it doesn't matter. Like, you can't put a stat to it, but for me, that matters.
All that other shit. All that shit matters in the locker room.
When your number one stud receiver is tough as nails and kind of like is in great, like he's with, like the whole team seems to love this dude.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and when a guy's like that and he's a superstar and he's super tough like that, you nothing but respect from everybody.
I can't remember what the exact number was, but Pat mentioned a stat. It was like 75% or more of his catches resulted in either a first down or a touchdown last year. It's like, look at that average. Like, he's averaging 18 yards a catch. Like, so yeah, he's not getting the volume that a lot of other guys are, but like, he's one of the key we always talked about Debo because he could he's doing like the scat back stuff and running the ball a bunch, but like without him their offense looks so much different. It just like then you expect Kittle's gonna have to catch a bunch more passes, or you're gonna have to line Debo like outside more.
Becomes
exactly
next guy,
and no one's really talking about it right now. Everyone's just talking about Dak being like the getting $60 million next year and kind of resetting the market and everything and breaking the bank. But like in terms of them looking different, like who's to say Purdy's not going to get over $60 million? Like he might get one of these massive deals where it's like, yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know if you're talking about windows and everything and knowing what the Chiefs are doing. Like, yeah, I don't know. He's obviously very, very important to them going back to the NFC Championship or potentially winning a Super Bowl.
Any news on Trent Williams and what's going on with his contract? And it's an old school holdout where he's not there, correct? It's not the new school hold in.
Yeah, Schefter said yesterday, like 2 to 3 weeks from now is when they would start to worry.
Deadlines.
August 20th was like the date he put out there, for him to obviously ramp up, be ready for the regular season. But I think Lombo kind of mentioned it. There's certain guys that you can kind of play the game with, and there's certain guys who are irreplaceable. Even though he is 36, last year he was a top 2-3 tackle in the NFL. Nobody wants to line up against this guy. You talk about Brock Purdy, you want a guy protecting your franchise quarterback in his blind side. So you need to get Trent Williams done. Obviously him missing camp at 36, not a big deal, but you want to get him done sooner or later.
Yeah, what about Haason Reddick in New York, the Jets? Has he been in the facility yet since they traded for him?
I do not think so. I believe Bob Sala might have misread that situation, saying that he was.
Are you worried? If you're a Jets fan, are you worried that he's not there yet?
I mean, I don't think you are.
He wants a big old deal, though, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Long-term, big extension. Like, are they willing to do that? Can they do that? And when they traded for him, they knew the deal, right?
That's what I don't understand. It's like you don't trade for a guy and then are all of a sudden just like flabbergasted that he's prepared to hold out and want
when they traded for him, they had to talk to his agent before and say, hey, if we're going to bring you over, we'll get you a good deal, all this. Did all of a sudden they quadruple what they were asking for? What happened?
Doubt it.
I mean, Mike Williams did get cut, I think, after, right? Or I don't know the exact timeline, but they did end up giving Mike Williams $13 million. But yeah, they had to have known that, hey, the whole reason that I don't want to play in Philly anymore is because I can't get a deal here. So if I'm getting traded to New York, like, hey, give me my money, you son of a bitch. But I assume Jets fans aren't worried about that. I think they're only worried about, hey, if Rodgers goes, then we're fine.
Well, and that's what makes no sense with like the front office either is like, obviously you have to be cognizant of like your cap going forward in case guys get hurt, so they'll have to do stuff later on this year. But like they know if they don't win this year, then like Joe Douglas is probably getting fired, Salah's getting fired. So why wouldn't you just like give him his money, get the deal done? Like you traded for him, you want his production on the field. Like so, I don't know why. I don't know why there's such a holdup right now. I mean, Salah even said too. He's a pro's pro. He's he's working his ass off, so we're not worried about it.
Where is he? Where do you think he is? Where's he working out?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Japan still. Granted, I'm not sure how Japan goes when it comes to football facilities, but it seemed like he was having a good time there in the offseason.
Yeah. Hey, I made a comment earlier. Zito sent me something from the NFL. Zito, I don't know if you have that or whatever, but the Guardian cap situation, I guess if you wear a certain type of position-specific helmet, you do not have to wear the Guardian cap.
Oh, the next
And there's
gen.
a certain amount of players, and there's like 5 helmets, I think they said, to where they're like position-specific, so therefore you don't need the Guardian cap on top of it.
Okay, so
I didn't misspoke. I just didn't know the rules.
Okay.
You might have one of those, the Bosa Kittle helmets.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which one, what kind of space-age material they got on that thing. His face mask is sweet.
Who was that, Bruce? Thomas?
Andy Thomas, yeah.
Okay, big Andrew.
Big old dude
Huge.
pulling out there on the
Big
edge.
boy.
I see you. Oh, D-Bot, you taking that on?
Nah.
But back in the day, you're taking that outside leg out, though. I'm going low,
yeah.
and I'm chopping his. I guess it would be his left ACL. I'm taking that out.
In the game, yeah. Not practice unless we do like a goal line scrimmage or something like that. But yeah, I'm kind of showing. Hey, coach, I'll be there in the game. I'll be there on Sunday, but not in practice. But with rookie. You're trying to prove yourself. Everything matters. Love to see it from Terrion. Look, the Lions need Terrion Arnold to show up big time this year. They need a whole secondary to take a big step up. That was their, I think, biggest weakness last year. Lions were great in run defense, but pass defense they got tore all year long.
What's the issue there? Is there a time where say our 4 or 5 DBs just don't play well together? Like how does one whole area of a team struggle when the rest of them seem to be doing very well?
It's got to be the continuity. Obviously, pass rush. Pass rush is always important. You got Hutch up front.
Scheme at times too. Like I don't know. I can't speak to specifics of what they're doing, but I know you got to be calling what your guys do best. Like if you got a bunch of man dudes, you don't want to be playing zone. You got a bunch of guys that play zone. You don't want them playing man. Like that whole situation.
You got to be comfortable, man. Brian Branch, he'll be another year under his belt. I think he played great as a rookie. We'll see him. Obviously, they got to stay healthy as well. Kirby Joseph, he gets his hand on the ball a bunch. I think they were kind of like tied, maybe top 10, 11 as far as turnovers, so that helped them a bunch. And then we got an offense that's putting up points that you can play from behind. Obviously, that's going to bump up those pass numbers against you. But, I still like the Lions this year, but that's where they need to step up. That's their biggest weakness right now in the secondary, giving up a lot of passing yards.
Did one of their corners already tear a pec? Was that you guys?
Mosley, man.
So is he out for the year?
Yeah, third year in a row. Tore an ACL. I think it was left. Then he tore his right ACL. Then he just tore his pec this offseason. There's 3 seasons in a row where he's had pretty major injuries. Coming off a really good year. I think when he became the starter at San Fran when they played their first Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and then kind of it's been downhill for him injury-wise.
Man, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I know about 3 hours from now, Brazil takes on the U.S. in men's basketball. Where are we now? This is not the semi.
This is the knockout round.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is quarterfinals.
But this is win or go home.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so this truly matters. This is when it actually, the pressure will start to build.
Yeah.
This U.S. team for Steve Kerr, for the staff, everybody. Like, what if they got down early somehow?
That has happened both to the women and to the men a couple times in group play, but we're gonna beat the shit out of Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not be. Of course, you never want to put the cart before the horse, as they say. But I think in this situation, we're 26.5 point favorites. If this was Serbia with Jokic, like Serbia won, so if we win, we go to play Serbia. Like I'm more worried about that game because we have already played Serbia once. And Wendy kind of laid out yesterday, hey, they might have been kind of holding back what they actually want to do.
You think that's true? You think Wendy's telling the truth there?
Wendy only tells the truth.
Wendy doesn't fib.
Is Wendy riding the train and the bus with these guys?
Well,
he's embedded with Team USA, it feels like.
He was, but he's not. Metaphorically, he's not doing it anymore because all the games are in Paris now. They're not in Lille anymore.
Oh, so he was when they were making that trip from wherever, when they were taking the train rides, was he there with them?
Sitting next to LeBron.
Yeah.
Strapped in next to him.
Yeah, they won 6 times when he won 7.
Really?
Yeah, because he was like, hey, boys, I'm going to go check it out, make sure we're good, kind of give you the lay of the land.
He actually had one seat at the back. That's why he was facing backwards on that call. He just had a solo seat.
I can't speak for Wendy. He's obviously an unbelievable athlete.
Only God
Unbelievable at what he does for a living. But I think Wendy's about ready to come home. Feels like he's been over there for a long time. It's a beautiful place, but it feels like he's been grinding around the clock.
Well, this is kind of what this is all that's left in the Olympics, at least for me. Is I want to see Team USA get the gold. I have Olympic fatigue like you would not believe.
What's left? What is left for us to watch other than basketball?
We got volleyball,
finals of
beach.
soccer.
Yeah, okay. Well, we got volleyball, both beach and the indoor full team. The men. They won. They're on to the semis or the quarters, and then the women I think are on right now. They're still in it, both dominating. And then the beach, is Budinger.
They got beat in the quarterfinals. Against the defending champs.
It's our old basketball player, right?
Yeah.
7 years in the NBA.
Yeah, bingo, same guy. Yeah, but I think our women are still in it in the beach. I think one of the teams lost.
What about Sam Watson? Is Sam Watson still around? You know who Sam Watson is?
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
That dude can climb a wall like you could, walk down your sidewalk, I feel like. So this Sam Watson character, I don't know, rock climbing? That's what the event is?
Rock climbing.
If you want to call it that.
Rock climbing. Sammy sure didn't make it look like rock climbing. If you watch this dude, it's like this thing is laying flat. He's not climbing anything. This is just, watch this. Oh. This is the Olympics. This is the best of the best, and somehow he's making they need a tougher course for this guy.
World record.
I'll say.
Was that the record?
So if he gets a 4.75 or whatever, what are other people getting?
Ty, you don't
15,
sound
30
too
seconds?
impressed. Ty doesn't sound impressed.
Listen, I'm all for them just making up whatever bullshit to give us more gold medals. This is not an Olympic event. This is not an Olympic sport.
Dude.
This guy he's running up a wall.
Maybe if he was free, maybe they don't have the safety rope. Then would it be a sport?
Sure,
it was all free.
Sure.
Free solo.
I mean, look at him. He uses the little springboard that gets him up halfway, and it's like this doesn't. This is just. What is this?
I need to see someone else do it, though. I need to compare
so
this to other people.
This is the first I've seen of this, but you're right. This course isn't hard enough.
Like if other people say he got 4.75, other people are going 5.50. Okay, we need to make this thing. We need to make it so you're hanging out like cliffhanger, like your old buddy back in Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, Gage. You should have to at least go to the left or the right a little bit.
Right?
You shouldn't.
I mean,
be
American
able to
Gladiators actually have a gladiator track them from behind, like we did in American Gladiators.
It would be more impressive if they were running up the aggro crag.
I agree.
Guts.
Sure, they could do that.
Or climb. What do you mean? That's a missed opportunity. Why aren't they climbing the Eiffel Tower?
Well, the only reason he's moving this fast.
What are we doing?
What they don't show is The Rock is actually pulling him up that rope. He's the one. Yeah,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, this is a tandem event, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a.
Well, he hired the right teammate. Then I want Dwayne pulling me up there as well.
Exactly.
Well, I get either Dwayne or Brock. One of those two.
Serbia has the mountain. So there is a chance, and granted, I'm not exactly sure if that's what country it is. But
I don't think you're even close to sure.
I believe he's from Iceland.
Oh, there it is. There it is. But I think
That's
they
what you
recruited him. I think he has dual citizenship.
Okay.
You know how it works. Like soccer for the United States, Gumby can attest. We use German players. You know, this is kind of the same situation in rock climbing.
Okay, so we're having Shams come on in about 3 or 4 minutes, I believe. Shams is not in France, right?
No, he is.
Don't think so.
He's back. He's stateside, just checking everything out.
Maybe.
Yep. So what's going on in Shams' world? If Wendy's kind of there embedded, what's left for Shams to kind of clean up?
He's worried about the NBA. I'm sure he'll have some NBA news. We know Serbia. We mentioned the Serbia win today. They had an unbelievable 24-point comeback against
Australia.
Yeah,
Playoff Patty Mills.
Yeah, exactly. Who also has some NBA players over there as well. I'm looking forward to the relays, the track relays.
Oh yeah, when are those coming up?
I think the 200 we still have. I don't know when it comes up, but I will be dialed in.
The women's 200 is today, I believe, and I think the men's is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
About the steeplechase, I haven't seen anyone jumping in the water and getting their right foot all wet.
It's going on. It's happening.
Yeah,
Does that happen?
I thought they did that early. I will say with the relays, on Saturday, the 4x400 mixed relay, that really took the wind out of my sails.
What happened? Actually, I saw leading up to it. I don't know if I watched the races.
So we set the world record, fastest 4x400 mixed ever.
Wow.
On Friday. Saturday was the final. And I'll tell you what, the Team USA got tracked. I mean, they were winning the whole way, and then at the end,
I watched this. Oh my gosh, heartbreaking!
Girl from the Netherlands out of nowhere,
and the girl from the Netherlands didn't even expect to win. I feel she all of a sudden, when they won, the whole team was watching. They all like, oh,
went nuts.
We did this. We got this thing.
Yes.
Did she? We kind of gassed out, right? We didn't like get. We didn't.
I don't
think we were showboating or looking around like the old speedwalker.
No,
we just kind of blew our load early, right?
Yeah, exactly. We
were
ran
so far ahead. I was watching that live actually with my father-in-law and my kids, and we it tore our hearts out because we thought for sure, here we go, another gold medal. Boom. Gets tracked down. And then did we get second or third?
Second. We ended up getting silver. But, I mean, it wasn't watching that girl from the Netherlands run that last stretch.
She was so, in control and just patient and, no stress, nothing. Like she was running like they want. You're supposed to be relaxed when you're. I know, Debo, you're fast.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Your face should be like relaxed, don't be straining and just kind of cruising. She was cruising right away to a gold medal. Is that the first gold medal the Netherlands has won in that event?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know she has won gold before. She's one of like the fastest women.
Has that always happened? The mixed relay? Male, female?
I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know if this was the first year of 2020 was or when it started.
I don't remember seeing it, but I just happened to be watching when that came on. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know if this is a new event or not.
Same with the pool. Like the pool did the 4x100 medley mix.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
And
men and women, right?
Yeah. And we won gold there. And the cool thing with that too is like in track, I don't know if it has to be this way, but every team went men, woman, and then in the swim, some of the teams like the U.S. decided to go. I believe they did men, then woman, and then some teams did woman.
Oh, you can
men,
choose.
men.
You don't have to.
Yeah, bingo.
Choose your order.
In swimming, I think in track you have to go.
I think it's alternating. Yeah,
men, then woman, then men, then woman. It was very sweet though. I'm glad that it's an event.
Do we have an updated medal count? Where are we right now?
I don't know. Tone Diggs, do you have an updated medal count back there?
There it is.
Here we go.
Boom.
So U.S. Okay, so China has they're edging us by one.
That's because they're doping.
But I mean, we got 79 total. So we're getting that gold medal count. We're definitely winning, right? Do we always win the gold medal count?
Yes.
Yeah, Hawk.
I'm asking.
Always.
This was as of yesterday morning, so we may. Hopefully we got.
I mean, if it was yesterday morning, you can add Caroline Marks. She won the gold in women's surfing.
Yep.
And she's like the first.
Give us 22.
That is as of today. That date's wrong on the graphic.
Okay. So that's awesome.
Well, you can add another for speed climbing. And Sam Watson.
He's in there.
Whenever they do that.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, you can just add 2 for basketball.
By the way.
Yeah.
Because we're going to win 2 golds.
By the way.
By the way.
The U.S. women's what's the closest margin of victory we've had? Like 100?
28, yeah. I mean, they are.
So we're just that much better in women's basketball than the rest of the world?
Yes.
5-on-5. Let's not get into 3-on-3.
True.
3-on-3 when you can guard.
They got a bronze.
When
They
you
got a
got
bronze.
to take it out.
Nice.
You got to take it out of the 3-point line and you can guard that. I don't understand that.
3-point line is still.
You shouldn't have to go. When I take it back, you shouldn't be able to guard that.
It's pretty.
It is
pretty
interesting.
Mickey Mouse.
Like
It
it's
is Mickey
weird.
Mouse.
Like as soon as the shot goes in, instead of grabbing the ball and just like casually throwing it out, like they are actively defending as you're trying to pass the ball. It's kind of dumb, but we learned yesterday from Wendy like they did that strictly so that other countries could beat the United States.
Yeah, they're sick of us winning. But another guy who has a little bit more info on this, I think he joins us obviously probably every week almost, I think, especially when basketball is a big thing. This guy is everywhere you look when you're talking NBA basketball. Shams Charania, please join us.
Hey!
Looking good, Shams. What's happening, buddy? What's going on with our 3-on-3 teams? Why can't we win the gold?
I mean, I think a part of that is the rules that you guys talked about, but I mean, it's also who you take, who you pick, and that's something that I've heard.
FIBA won't let us. FIBA won't let us take who we want.
There's a group of guys though that were potentially eligible. I mean, it all comes down to who you pick, but I mean, for sure. I mean, I think that plays a part in it. But there were guys that are eligible. Like I heard some feedback around the G League over the last few weeks. Like there were other players that USA could have picked.
Bronny?
No.
We would have won gold. If we send him, we'll win gold.
I'll go back and I'll get the list. Next time I'm on, I'll have like 3-4 candidates for you.
Okay,
guys.
appreciate that. Thank you for being
It's
professional.
always a pleasure talking ball.
Hey.
Always a pleasure talking ball with you.
Great to see you, Shams. You look great. Obviously, we love following everything you do. But today, 3:30 Eastern, right? We're taking on Brazil, U.S. men's basketball team. What do you expect from this? I think Connor said we're 26.5-point favorites.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to cover this? What kind of what issues could we possibly have today? Or are we just going to run through this team?
I mean, the hope obviously is that you dominate. The USA should obviously get the gold medal, and this is a game they're going to be heavily favored in. Drew Holiday, he missed the last game. That's definitely a status that I'm looking at. Does he play and does he start? My sense is he's going to play, and you know, whether it's him or Jason Tatum in the starting lineup, that's where Steve Kerr is likely going to go. But I mean, when you think about this Brazil team, from a talent perspective, they don't have obviously what the USA has. But we've seen in the last couple of games, like especially early on, USA is tested. They get a little. I don't even know if you want to call it a punch in the mouth. They get like a little slight push, but there's no one that's been able to really give USA a real punch in the mouth.
Go ahead, Boston Connor.
Yeah, Shams, I saw your tweet from earlier about Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, Golden State has been trying to figure out some sort of package, but now you are saying that he is going to stay with the Utah Jazz. What are the numbers coming in like here? And then also, are the Warriors going to try and make a move for somebody else now?
Yeah, the Jazz, Lauri Markkanen and his representatives, they are in deep discussions today to finalize this long-term massive extension. This is going to be the biggest contract in Jazz franchise history. It's going to be one of the top contracts for a European player in NBA history. I'm told it's going to be in the 5-year, $200 million plus range. An overall renegotiation and extension. The sides are expected to agree to this long-term deal. And this is the real kicker. They can agree today, but Lauri Markkanen can wait one full day tomorrow or Thursday and sign Thursday. If he signs it today, Lauri Markkanen is trade eligible at the trade deadline, February 6th. If he waits even a day, if he waits 2 days, whenever it is, he is not trade eligible for the entire calendar NBA season 2024-2025. And I'm told that is the expectation. That is the plan from both sides. Both sides are working under that understanding that Lauri Markkanen, when he does sign the extension, it'll be after that date of today. And why that's big news is because the Warriors have pursued Lauri Markkanen heavily the last few weeks. They've made the most aggressive offer. Moses Moody, other salaries, multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, multiple pick swaps. The big holdup there has been Brandon Podziemski, their rookie. They have high hopes for him. They view him as really that guard of the future in Golden State. And they have been unwilling as of right now and as of really in any deal right now to put him in that deal. And that's why Lauri Markkanen is staying in Utah. That extension is expected to happen. And you have to, you look at Lauri Markkanen's career, you have to give him so much credit. He fell in and out of favor in Chicago, number 7 overall pick. A little bit of, I guess you can call him a disappointment there. Revitalized himself in Cleveland, and he's become an absolute star with the Jazz, all-star starter in 2023. One of the top players, definitely big men in the league today.
Wait, so Sham, so he's going to sign after tomorrow, so he cannot be traded. That's what you said?
So he cannot be traded. He wants to stay in Utah. His family wants to stay in Utah through the year. And listen, at the end of the day, the Jazz, could they extend him now? And that will increase his value around the league. So all the teams, the Golden States, a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder that has a cupboard of draft picks. The San Antonio Spurs is another team. When I talk to people around the league, they viewed the Spurs as a real threat to get Lauri Markkanen potentially if he became a free agent. And the big reason why you have to lock him into this deal now if you're the Jazz is Lauri Markkanen is going to be the top free agent in the 2025 free agency class next summer. And the Spurs have cap space potentially. They have a ton of interest in Lauri Markkanen. The Kings were also a team that was involved, but the fact that the Jazz are getting him locked up now, they have him under their control. And if they want to, I guess, trade him next summer, they theoretically could. But he gets his money, he gets his bag, and it is important for him to stick next season in Utah.
D-Buck, go ahead.
Yeah, Shams, any other extensions that we can expect coming up soon?
Well, the only other really trade name, big all-star caliber guy that kind of falls in that same Lauri Markkanen boat is Brandon Ingram. And his future in New Orleans, David Griffin has talked about it. Brandon Ingram wants to stay in New Orleans. New Orleans wants Brandon Ingram. The holdup there as he goes into the final year of his deal is the money. The Jazz are willing to give Lauri Markkanen near the max contract. The Pelicans, as of right now, it's a financial thing. They have DeJounte Murray locked in for $100 million plus. CJ McCollum's locked into big money. Zion Williamson's locked into big money. So if you give a fourth guy in that market, they want to see what that team looks like. And right now, from what I'm told, Brandon Ingram's trade market is limited. I think the sense around New Orleans is he's going to be there. They are fully expecting Brandon Ingram to be a part of the team going into next season. There's a team mini camp at the end of the month. Brandon Ingram right now is expected to be at that. And so the sense around New Orleans is you start the year, see what you have, and then make any adjustments that you have to. But that was really the only other major trade name. And from what I'm told, he's looking for $45 to $50 million per year in an extension.
Okay. Ty Schmidt, go ahead.
Shams, what are the big takeaways now that Summer League is over? I mean, obviously we talked about Bronny and, how he's probably going to win either Sixth Man of the Year, maybe Rookie of the Year. But
MVP.
For, the casual fan who looks at that and is basically like, hey, none of these guys are going to be playing. No one really gives a shit about any of this kind of stuff. What is kind of the big takeaway from Summer League and as we close the Olympics kind of heading towards the regular season starting in the NBA?
I look at rookies that are going to make an instant impact. And you think about Zach Edey with the Grizzlies. They were literally looking for that type of player, that center. And he showed he's that guy. Hopefully he can stay healthy. But If he's healthy, he's going to have an instant impact. Reed Shepherd with Houston. You saw his instant impact the moment he got in the summer league. He has the ability to be a star in the NBA. So I really look at those two guys like Khalil Ware, who came on from Miami. He was drafted, obviously later in that first round. He wasn't a lottery pick, but he's someone that has a ton of potential for Miami as well. So really, to me, it's the instant impact guys, the guys like Zachary Sachet, who should have some level of impact. I don't know if it'll be superstar potential, but he's going to be a force in the league. But I mean, Alex Sarr, that's something else to keep an eye on.
He shot really well, didn't he? Yeah, he was pretty bad, they said, huh?
You saw physically the way he looks. He has some upside, obviously, but he did struggle. So how does he develop going into training camp and going into the season?
Well, I guess we will tune in. We will watch everything that you do and say, Shams. Thanks so much, man. We really appreciate you coming on here. We will talk to you, I'm sure, down the road. So, ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania. All right, Con Man, I know during Shams' situation there was, I think, when he was talking, there was a situation as far as Malik Nabers, right? He's talking about, there's probably videos probably not even out there yet.
Yeah, here it is.
He's talking about something. I think Foxy and the boys in the back found a way. Here we go. Let's see Malik Nabers kind of talking about the fights.
It's hot. We're competing. Stuff like that's going to happen. It's football at the end of the day. He did, but I'm not going to repeat it.
Looks like kind of it was a contested play and Arnold was in coverage, right? He kind of tapped him on the helmet coming up, and it looked like maybe he objected to that. And he thought that was
objected.
Kind of oh no, it's the competitive me and Arnold. We talk almost every day about just competing, how great we want to be. So it's nothing against him. He's my brother, so I'm gonna give him the work he needs. He's gonna give me the work I need. But it was just I was tapping him on the helmet. Good play. That's all it was.
Good play.
And then somebody comes up, running up to me, said a few words, and rest is that. I mean, it's hot.
I like this, Steve. For my first time seeing this, I think this is the right way to handle it. He's not trying to gaslight it and make it a bigger thing than it was. He's kind of giving him respect, right?
Yeah, just basically what we said. It's hot. It's a dog day.
Yep. This sucks.
Talking a little shit. Kirby Joseph probably ran and said something, to him in passing. He obviously took offense to that. But the most important thing, we see Malik Nabers making plays. We see Arnold making a play on that play. And you do get competitive. And the Giants, I know Bruce could probably speak to this, but they're looking for a guy like this. That's why they drafted Malik Nabers, not only to do what he's doing on the field, but to kind of have somebody on that offense who, got that dog in him. And obviously he's going to make plays. He's going to have stuff to say. I played with Steve Smith. Steve Smith was kind of similar. Rarely do you have like a wide receiver who's kind of going to set the tone and be kind of that dog on the team or the offense. So I like what I'm seeing from Malik Nabers. Once again, don't want to see, team scrums and guys throwing punches, especially, you start wide out, you break a hand or something, hitting a helmet. Hate to see that part of it, but I do like the fiery competitor that we're seeing from Malik Nabers early.
Do any coaches not like fighting? Obviously they have to say they don't like it, and you got to say, hey, we got to be disciplined. We cannot do this during a game, which, yeah, we know. We know I can't be punching dudes in the head during a game. I'm getting thrown out. I'm getting fined. But, every coach has to like the fact that they're competitive enough and that they at least want to see you stand up for your teammates if one of your teammates gets jacked by other teams.
You do. You just don't want to cross.
Don't be taking helmets off and smashing dudes' faces, I guess.
Don't go across the line. At some point, I know when we were playing, at least, coaches start kicking guys out of practice. Hey, the next guy throws a punch or starts a fight, you're out of practice, you're done. Some guys maybe, all right,
perfect.
Kind of hot and tight. Get thrown out of this shit. But this is what's going to happen. At training camp, another team, another uniform shows up. Somebody's talking shit. It's a little different than your teammate. It's almost like you fight differently with people outside your home than you fight with your brothers. Your siblings, you may toss them around a little bit. Once you get outside the house, it's a little bit different. So obviously it's the off season. We're going to make a big deal of it. These type of fights are a big deal, but I'm itching for this real season to get started. Obviously, we got a bunch of football coming up these next Thursdays, Sundays, and throughout. So I'm excited about it. This makes me a little more excited about it, honestly.
Oh yeah, only 30 days left, E-Butt. But Tony might have a better grasp on when this will be, but the Chargers having their first joint practice is going to be a massive deal, strictly because when this stuff comes up and Harbaugh has to talk about it, like think about how Harbaugh is going to approach the, practice fighting. Because, I think we do have the Dayball, because Danny Dimes talked about him getting involved in that entire fight, and then Dayball kind of went into it as well. But once we get, here's what Dayball said about Danny Dimes.
Yeah, I saw the play that happened.
Is that Dayball?
again, really don't want anybody getting
trim.
in the piles during practice. Understand
Like
what it
Sins.
is.
Looks tan too.
He kind of stood back and said,
Chameleon, man.
So, he's my guy's down on the ground. I said, all right, just stay out, okay?
He's smiling. He likes that his quarterback wants to mix it up a little bit. Make sure you take care of that right hand. Don't be punching anybody's helmet and breaking your knuckle, right?
Yeah, of course. But Dayball also, Dayball strikes me as the guy that says that, but in the locker room, he's like, that's right.
Oh, yeah. He's going to say, like, this is the turn. This is when our team made the turn. Like, this is when I knew all of a sudden we were going to have a squad. When I saw our starting QB getting paid all this money, going in there and protecting his teammates, like, that's what he's going to use to kind of springboard the rest of this squad, I think.
Dan Jones is a different guy now, too. It's not just the him getting involved, but guy's got a beard in his press conference. Like, he heard everything everyone was saying about him all off season the last several years. Hey, this guy looks just like a big dumb dipshit.
Who said that?
A lot of people have said that. He dresses, off the rack from Old Navy. He said, you know what? Yeah. I'm gonna grow a beard. I'm gonna go put my head into a fight. And I'm going to let everybody know, like, yeah, there's a reason I'm a starting quarterback in the New York Football Giants because I like to get my nose dirty. And who knows? We might be talking very differently about Dan Jones about 6 months from now.
Different person, but kind of like when Scheffler grew his beard.
Yeah, very similar.
Scoot Scheffler is a whole different person with that beard.
You think he's got like the big dragon full back tat like Ben Affleck has?
Maybe.
He should.
What if he did?
He kind of comes off as a guy that, like, you never see him with his shirt off. And one time you see him with his shirt off. Just
everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Oh, yeah, maybe he is. Maybe Dan Jones is the new guy. I don't know.
I could see it.
Look at that.
I mean, look at that.
He does look sweet.
That's franchise quarterback.
He does look
a
sweet.
T-shirt, too?
Yeah. He's setting the tone. He's a leader. Bigger than me, right? And the me is actually smaller.
Bingo.
He does look an awful lot like Mitt, though, which is kind of throwing me for a loop.
Really?
Yeah, it's Mitt and Bone together. But
people love Mitt. Everyone says how handsome Mitt is.
I don't know. What did he say in this?
What does he say? Do we have it?
I didn't actually hear what he said.
I don't know.
We do have it. That's why we should listen to it.
Yeah, let's see. We'll pod that thing back up and see what Danny Jones has to say here.
A little bit there on the skirmish earlier in practice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Situation happens like that. You try to stand up for your guys, but I thought it was good competitive practice.
He blacked out. Just
all day today, and we made some plays and did some good things. There's some things we need to shore up for sure, but it's good, good intensity and competitive spirit today.
You can tell the reason he didn't grow his beard out is you can see there on the left side of his face, he's got that patch that doesn't grow hair very well. That's why it's been taking this long.
You think he's like self-conscious about that?
I think that's why.
Patch?
Yeah, I think that's why we haven't seen bearded DJ yet.
Yeah. It's a new guy.
It's clear.
It looks good though. The rest of the beard looks amazing.
Looks great.
I mean, he should go goatee, I think. He's got a strong goatee going. And if he
shaves that off into a goatee, he's going to instantly look 25 years older. Like, goatees make younger people look very old, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden, obviously, I shot at Dayball, but he looks across and he sees MCDC with his goatee. And he's like, holy shit, I could probably bring that energy to the New York Football Giants.
Why did Dan Campbell say he's a chameleon? Because his weight fluctuated?
Yeah.
That's what
changed how he looks.
He wasn't lying. I saw Dave today, I think, with Shreg. Shreg posted a picture. We'll probably show it on the other side, but he looks like a new guy.
Do they ask coaches about that? Coach, you look like you're in shape. You're fit this year. You're fit. Like, what are you doing? Like, they don't ask coaches, do they?
I don't think so, because it comes off like, hey, you're not a fat shit anymore.
Yeah, you can't say that. Hey, come back for the second hour. We will have it's going to be fun, actually. We got a hard out coming, and see ya.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the commissioner of the NFL. Don't listen to them. No. Roger, shut your mouth. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. You're our commissioner. Don't worry about these bums. From us to you, we'd like to give you a gift that we know you're a big fan of. Ladies and gentlemen, some peanut M&Ms for our commission.
This is just why we're on set?
Yep. You can take these with you. You can take them home.
I might just I got a gift for you.
What? Oh.
You ready?
Yeah, I like that.
With the 222nd pick in the 2009 NFL Draft.
Oh, yeah.
The Indianapolis Colts select Pat McAfee. Hunter, West Virginia.
Hell yeah!
Come on here, baby. Good pick.
Good pick. I'll pick him up. Thank you, Raj. I'm not going to pick you up because you got that
That's
back.
All right.
Yeah.
I got it. There's your card, baby. That's real.
That's awesome.
I've been keeping that for, 15 years?
You had it in your back pocket this whole time? This is cool. Thank you for this. So whenever we say that you have to answer to 31 billionaires, how accurate is that?
32. Well, you're not counting Green Bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Doesn't count.
Big pop. There's a Green Bay Packers.
I didn't know he did.
Yeah, no, that was.
I don't actually think that way. I actually think I answer to them. I think I answer to the media partners. I think I answer to the players. I think I answer to the owners, too. The idea for me is to try to keep everyone happy. I always say that my biggest job is not to piss off more than 24 owners in a given day.
How did you know the draft would be awesome if you traveled it, and did you see this happening?
I'd be kidding you if I thought it was going to be as big as it is. We felt like we could be bigger than we were in Radio City. But what happened is Radio City actually put a holiday show in and said, you can't have the draft until June. And that's when we said, we're out of here.
So they
And
kicked you out.
That's when we went on the road.
Well, Taylor Swift, we know.
Well, that's a different kind of influence.
How about, hey, listen, a lot of jokes from
They're booing Taylor Swift.
Yeah, you can't boo.
There it is.
Yeah, you're going to be a part of an album.
Wow.
Do it. Get a little louder. She is going to cook you. A lot of the internet was saying Roger Goodell is sitting at home through the moon about this.
Well, they thought it was part of the script.
Yes, then you went to her. There it is.
no,
There it is. Is there a thought of adding another one, maybe adding another bye week, or are we good at 17 right now?
Well, I think we're good at 17 now, but listen, we're looking at how we continue. I'm not a fan of the preseason. I don't think we need preseason.
Waste of time, right, and energy.
I don't buy it, and I don't think these guys like it either.
Well, that's spend full price for the tickets for those games.
No, they're actually discounted now. So
Thank you for doing that.
I'd rather replace a preseason game with a regular season any day. That's just picking quality, right? If we got to 18-2, that's not an unreasonable thing. The other thing it does, which I thought you were going to, is that ends up on President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, which makes a Sunday night, and then you have Monday off. So that's
wow.
Now we're good.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go. This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pig!
Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Welcome back, hour 2. The Pat McAfee Show. I'm AJ Hawk, sitting in for Pat as he handles business with ESPN. I'm here with the boys on a great Tuesday.
Hell yeah.
Wow, pretty good. Contain your excitement.
Yeah, you know, I really want to stay to the time schedule there, Con, man. I was trying to get it in there. I know we have a lot going on, but we have fun hour 2 coming up, boys. I hope you guys are excited.
Oh, of course.
Are you, Connor? You don't seem excited.
I'm so excited. Actually, as I sat back down in this chair, I was like, Aiyuk to New England's happening within the next hour.
I would get, yeah. I mean, we have no idea. None of us know anything.
No idea.
If you had to put odds on it, I would say that the best chance, I would think, would be New England, right?
Sounds like it.
I think so.
Or maybe it's just because we were sitting next to Connor.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, probably.
But with that being said, however, just listen for a second. When we're like Aiyuk, it seems at this point he just wants as much money as possible.
He just wants to get
paid. He wants to win, though. He's going from a
paid.
great team. He doesn't want to. I mean, I guess Cleveland and New England both are.
So
he doesn't need
well, he's had a couple.
I've had enough.
He's been winning.
And maybe he has kind of realized, like, you know what? I don't think anybody can beat Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, so I'm just going to go get $30 million a year and kind of sail off into the sunset. And what better place to sail than the great state of New England? And when I say that, I mean Massachusetts.
Yep, there you go.
What better place? Hey, I wonder if he's seen Perfect Storm. And he's like, you know what? I want to head up to Gloucester and kind of check out those.
Probably came out before he was born.
Yeah,
what year
probably.
did that come out?
Like 97,
Was it
maybe
really that long ago?
98.
George Clooney.
Might have been post 2000.
George Clooney. Have you seen this, D-Butt?
You know, I'm a terrible movie.
Oh, man.
George
George
Clooney, my friend.
Yeah, it was Clooney and Wahlberg.
Yeah,
John C. Riley. I mean, plenty of
It's a
guys.
fishing movie.
Regardless.
They don't come back, D-Butt, just so you let you know. I don't think they do. Nobody comes back.
Spoiler
AJ.
alert. You sack of shit.
Call the
But either
perfect storm. You know they're all dead.
Aiyuk's coming to New England. It's a done deal.
Done deal.
I'm assuming, Kendrick Bourne, a third, and 4 years, $135 million.
4 for 135. I know Spotrac, they projected it out at 4 for 110, I believe. They said that's like his range. Right?
Yeah, I would disagree pretty heavily there with Spotrac.
It all depends on how much guaranteed and all that, and what are the outs. Like, is it really a 2-year deal? Like, what is it?
I also think you got to pay a little bit of a tax again in New England.
Yeah.
Right?
What if 30 is like the make or break number? Then guess what? It's not going to be 4 years, 110. If he says like, I'm not going to New England unless I get $30 million a year, then guess what? He's not going to be getting less than $30 million playing in New England.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, we'll see. I would like to see him in Cleveland personally.
Yeah.
Somewhat similar systems. I mean, obviously you got Drake May up there, Jacoby Brissett starting the season off with the Patriots, but you go to Cleveland. You know how I feel about Cleveland, the moves that they made this offseason, especially that wide receiver
champion.
So, they did move the needle with that Jerry Jeudy trade. But Deshaun Watson, we've been saying, hey, we get Deshaun of 2021. We've been saying that for a while now. He's got to turn that corner. But offensive line, Chubb obviously come back at some point. The defense, we saw what they did last year under Schwartz. I think that's somewhere where he can win. They're not obviously going to be the Niners. You don't expect them to be at least. But anybody in that AFC North can come out on top or be the last team in that division going into it this year.
Hard Knocks tonight, right, con man?
Yeah, Hard Knocks tonight.
Nice
Can't
one.
wait. So
really?
excited.
Yes, you can't wait.
I actually am excited.
Zito.
I am.
What about Zito? Resident Chicago Bears super fan. Zito, are you juiced for this tonight?
Absolute pumped. I can't wait.
Really? I can't ever tell if you're real or not.
Super fan Z.
If you're serious.
People are going to find a problem with Caleb Williams no matter what, but I actually think the tide has turned for me at least. I'm excited to see who he is.
He seems comfortable in whoever he, I think anyone will ultimately respect you if, no matter how out there unique they might be, if they're themselves.
Bingo.
If you feel authentic.
Yes.
And he feels like, I'm authentic. I'm not changing. This is who I am.
Agreed.
Good luck.
I just hope that Hard Knocks has enough wherewithal to understand, like, hey, we should, let's put all of our, let's focus on him. Yeah. I understand, the 75th guy who might make the team or whatever, but, the last time Hard Knocks was when Baker was on the Browns, and we knew, the Browns.
He was a rookie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He had the
little, RV, that guys would come in, but we knew they were going to suck. We knew they weren't going to be any good, and that was a big, the big takeaway from that was how weird it was between Todd Haley and Hugh Jackson and the coaches meetings and stuff like
awesome.
that. Exactly, but people expect the Bears to potentially be one of the kind of breakout teams this year and potentially go to the playoffs. I hope they really focus on Caleb Williams as opposed to giving us the stories that Hard Knocks are typically about, which. For the time, it's okay, but in 4 weeks, no one's going to care about that. We want to know about Caleb Williams.
Are you guys also worried there's no true drama going on? There's no quarterback battle. There's no real position stuff that is going to be a storyline.
Just because they have stars, I'm not as worried about that. They got Sweat on defense, they got Johnson on defense, and they have Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. You can throw in there, because they have stars.
Caleb, #1 pick, Caleb.
Yeah, bingo. But the thing with the last year Hard Knocks is they started to do that, but the two undrafted guys ended up getting, ended up making the team, so they got lucky. If they do that, and then those two guys end up just being complete utter failures, and that's when it kind of starts to stink. But it is such a layup. You have two top 10 picks that are rookies in this draft. You don't even really have to focus on Keenan Allen because they did Chargers Hard Knocks 3 years ago. Yeah. So I kind of have already gone down that road. I honestly would like to know a little bit more about Eberflus.
Me too.
I feel like I don't know as much
about him. He seems like
him.
a good dude. I've interacted with him a little bit, and he honestly just seems like a great guy. A really good dude. Obviously, we know he's a great coach. Yeah. But he's not a crazy out there rah look at me guy at all.
Not a huge personality, but coach his ass off. Obviously he was here for a while, so I know a bunch of the guys that have played for him, they loved playing for him, and we saw the turnaround at that Chicago Bears defense, especially.
He was gone. They already kicked him out of town pretty much.
Exactly.
He finds a way to turn around, and now people are very positive on the Bears.
And we got Caleb. You mentioned Caleb. Caleb Williams, he was tabbed as the next Patrick Mahomes, and I'm interested to see obviously some great throws and great plays that he'll make on Hard Knocks. Have they put out any clips of anything that they want to?
The big one I saw was when he had to get up in front of everybody and tell him his signing bonus, and they obviously all go ape shit.
Yeah, that's always a moment.
And then they put out clips of him throwing, rolling left, making an absurd throw to I think it was either Keenan Allen or DJ Moore in the corner of the end zone. There have been a few of those. I assume that this episode isn't as much of that. They've already, we mentioned last week, Colin Johnson's probably going to be a huge story just because of how well he played in the Hall of Fame game last week.
Anything with Flus?
What do you mean?
Eberflus?
Haven't seen anything.
Okay.
No, I have not seen anything on him.
The only thing I've seen from like guys.
He looks
that are
sweet,
on
by the way.
team-
Sweet haircut.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Does he still have the beard?
I'll tell you, once he found that barber in Chicago, it has.
I
gone-
wonder who did that. Like he definitely is really like
He does all
transformed.
Like, he does all the Bears players, and then a couple like from North. I think he goes to Notre Dame.
Oh, you know who cuts his hair?
Yeah, it's like a big name. I've seen like his shop before, but it's pretty crazy.
Flu's probably said, "Hey man, whatever you think is cool, you give me that." Right?
Yeah, I
trust
wonder.
you.
Well, actually, if to what Zeke just said, I wonder if some guy halfway through the season's like, "Dude, no one can listen to you with that shitty hair. Like, why don't you come on over? We'll get you cleaned up, and then this whole thing might turn around, and then they finish the season like 6-1."
Yeah, Nick came in my ear, said there's something popped into my ear and said there was a clip of Eberflus speaking with Nick Saban. I guess. Here we go, guys. Let's watch this. The
Here's
first
my
time.
theory on why NFL quarterbacks fail at such a dramatic rate. To me, expectations are a killer.
Is this from Hard Knocks? Yeah.
This kid's got so much media, so much hype, so much expectation on doing well. And he has to develop so quickly to meet the expectations that everybody has.
Is this Saban's
for him.
office
It's
in the
almost
Bears
impossible.
facility?
The expectations are killer.
Looks like
But yet, to use your word, development is the key for him. You know, like Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions when he was a rookie. It's the most in the history of all.
Manning looks to throw, tipped and intercepted.
It's unbelievable.
Hit the nail on it.
But it didn't affect him. It's like the scoreboard. The scoreboard don't mean anything until the game's over.
Hey, thank you to HBO for that. They do a great job too. Like just cutting in the Peyton clip and the Peyton mic'd up from way back. Like that just
They
just do a good job.
Yeah.
They know how to do it.
And they just got so much. They got so much shit. They got all the mic'd up. They got obviously all the games. So I'm excited to see that part of it. Obviously Nick Saban, whoever else jumps in there. I can't wait for this. They're coming off swinging a hot bat with the Giants one. We've got y'all access with the GM with Joe Shine out there in New York. So I would love to see a great Hard Knocks to start the season.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, that's kind of cool seeing him and Eberflus. Was that Flus's office? Whose office was it?
I think it was, and then Saban just sits in Flus's
in the main.
chair.
Yeah, here you sit. You can sit over there.
Yeah, get out of here. I'm obviously the coach in this situation here.
But it was cool what he was saying though. Like, hey, all the media, all the hype surrounding this guy, #1 pick. Some people can handle it and some can't. What is it? What makes some people able to kind of ride out the rough patches and come out the other side?
I feel like it's different with Caleb. Like even last year with Bryce Young, I don't think anybody had high expectations for Bryce Young in Carolina. Like with Caleb in the situation he's going to, and because of who he was in college, like he is a polarizing guy.
Oh,
like so many people hate him,
which quarterbacks usually are.
Yes, absolutely. But with him, like the USC thing and all that shit, and the people feel the way they feel about him because of the nails and everything. But I mean, you guys have said it all the time. If he goes out and plays well, none of that shit matters. If he goes out and does this type of shit in the NFL, like nobody is going to be able to say a damn thing to him. And it's hard to argue that he won't just because of how well the situation is. Like, yes, they had the #1 overall pick, but in reality, like that was the Panthers pick.
Correct.
They also had a top 10 pick. They also added Keenan Allen. Like there are so many other factors to the Bears team. And I think that also doesn't help the expectation part just because, like Ty said earlier, like people do expect the Bears to be a very good football team.
When's the last time a rookie quarterback has had this situation?
I mean, Andrew Luck walked into a pretty solid situation. Obviously, they had the #1 pick because Peyton was out the year before, so they sucked and they had the #1 pick. But he came in, he had Reggie Wayne. They drafted Kobe Fleener, drafted T.Y. Hilton, Dwayne Allen. They had a really, really, really good draft class. O-line was solid. But I think the Bears situation is even better because of how good their defense is. Now, O-line may be a question, but they got Swift behind them, correct? So they got Swift and I would say probably the best trio. We haven't seen Rome play in the NFL yet, but how wide receivers have transitioned so smoothly as of late, we expect him to be good. Keenan Allen, we know he's going to move the sticks, and we know who DJ Moore is. Just got another deal coming off a career year with Justin Fields. So the expectations are high, and you said like what kind of helps, quarterbacks and the expectations. Obviously, obviously in Peyton's situation, he had a dad that played in the NFL, so he knew it was coming. Same thing with Andrew Luck. He had a dad that had been around the game for a while. It seems like Caleb Williams has some good people around him and has a good head on his shoulder, and everything that you hear out of his mouth has been the right things. Obviously, there's been a lot of noise around him. Even a report came out maybe last week about how he kind of said something to the guys about, hey, let's kind of clean up our shit. Let's be on top of that. I saw somebody come out and make it like a thing, like, oh, that's bad. I don't want to hear him say
tumor.
Yeah, like what is that? That's what you want from.
But it wasn't Caleb. Caleb didn't come out to the media and say,
No.
"Hey,
Somebody
I told
else-
guys
yeah,
to pick up
exactly.
their trash." No, your teammate.
Exactly.
So if Caleb would have said, "I'm a great leader. I told these old vets, hey, throw your
Yeah.
throw your tape away. Don't be throwing stuff on the ground." No, like if he did that, yeah, that's come on now. We don't need that. But the fact that another teammate told us, I'm like, that's awesome. Good for him.
I think a lot of times, too, it gets overblown in terms of, like, a guy from somewhere gets drafted to, like, let's say New York. Like, we talked about it with Zach Wilson a bunch, like him going from BYU to New York and not being able to handle the media there. Like, USC's not what they used to be, but Caleb Williams was, next to, like, LeBron and some of those guys, maybe, like, on the Dodgers. Like, he was, like, the biggest star in L.A., and he handled that fine. And, like, it's a little bit different than, obviously, if you go to Alabama, like, if you're Bryce Young, like, you're going to have a bunch of stuff because the expectation is to win. But, like, Tuscaloosa as a whole, like, he's a god in Tuscaloosa, like, Caleb Williams handled L.A., and in Chicago, it's like, it's kind of the same as New York, like if they're winning, they're going to absolutely love him. And if they're losing and he's not playing well, they're going to kill him. Like that's just the way it goes. And he understands that. But I also think like the whole dynamic of that division has changed now that Rodgers isn't there anymore. Yeah. Like it isn't just like, obviously like the Lions had their run last year and everyone's kind of expecting them to potentially go to the Super Bowl, but it's just different. Like it used to be going into every year. If you were the Bears or the Vikings or whoever, it was just like, well, maybe we'll get lucky and the Packers will stumble a little bit. But for the longest time, it was just like, hey, the Packers are going to win this division. And that's kind of that. And that's not the case anymore.
It's not. Yeah, the NFC North from top to bottom, man, like there's no cupcakes anywhere.
No.
I mean, when the Vikings are plus 900 just to win the division, I think the Vikings are going to be a good football team this year.
You got B-Flow
They
on
got
the
a
defense.
tough schedule, man. We were looking at it yesterday. Their win total is 6.5.
Damn.
That schedule is
6.5.
That schedule they have is hell, man.
Really? But who? What, they got the Dolphins, Gump? Is that why? Is that why you say that?
I don't know if that's why, but if you go through it, it's tough to find more than 6 wins.
There are just so many good teams in the NFL.
Everybody's
everybody's
good. Man.
Like even looking at the NFC South, like sure you could kind of make the argument that would be the worst division out of all of them in the NFL. But like, what happens if Derek Carr comes out and the Saints are filthy? Like, I assume the Bucs being plus.
How are
300.
the Falcons?
Yeah,
have
they're
the best odds to win the South
because they're just kind of saying like, oh,
that nobody. We don't know what anyone else is. Is that why?
Well, yeah, and Kirk Cousins, I assume people are thinking is the best quarterback in that division, which based on previous performances, of course he is. But also, like, I don't see why you wouldn't assume that the Bucs take another step. Like, sure, they lost Canales in their OC, and that is a big deal. We saw it with the Eagles last year. But Baker, second year in Tampa, second year with Mike Evans and Godwin and Kate Otten and all those guys. Like, you would think that the Bucs would be better, but they lost a few pieces on defense. The Falcons are just probably the most fascinating team just because of the Penix thing. Because, the Falcons fans, and Pat has said this a bunch of times, like, they have no loyalty to Kirk Cousins. Like, if Kirk Cousins comes out in those first 2 weeks, they look like shit, and everyone starts calling for Mike Penix, then what do? Like, that is why them being minus 120 doesn't make much sense, because there's only there's only 3 teams, not including the Falcons, that are actually favored to win their division. Like, that is nuts. The Bills have been in the past, and I'm not sure about the AFC North, but I think the Ravens or the Bengals have been closer to the plus 100 mark. But even the Texans, everyone's talking about the Texans as like hey, they're definitely going to go to the AFC Championship. They're going to be one of those teams in at the end. They're not even favored to win the AFC South. And that's shocking just when you think about who else is in that division.
The Texans are right. No, the Texans are favored.
Yeah,
right?
with you said like under, like minus.
Yeah, they're
minus,
not.
I mean, sorry. Yeah, I mean, favored money-wise.
Well,
so if they were
AFC
minus
South,
odds.
man, we don't really know exactly what we have in the AFC South. Obviously, the Texans, they're hoping they can, build on what they did last year. But Jags, Colts, Titans are kind of like up in the air. All right, a couple of these teams gonna fight and show us that, hey, you're the team. Like, what?
Quiet as kept.
Out of those 3, what do you think? Obviously, you probably just think
quiet as kept. We're talking about the long odds. Titans.
If Will Levis
plus 900,
is the dude.
if Will Levis, they've done everything that they possibly could do this offseason. Schefter put out a tweet with all their signings. Obviously, they just added Quandre Diggs as well. We were talking about it earlier with everybody that they brought in on the defensive side of the ball, and we know Calvin Ridley to the fold. Pollard in the backfield as well. So if you can actually give Will Levis some time, he had a decent second half of the season last year. I think going into this year, new coordinator, new head coach, new system around him, I think Will Levis and those Titans could make some noise.
Have we heard anything out of the Cardinals camp with Marvin Harrison Jr.? Have we seen any clips? Is he practicing? What's going on? I don't hear much from there.
Not much football stuff.
I saw a tweet that was like either Marvin Harrison's really good or the Card secondary is really bad, or both could be true.
Yeah, both could. Well, yeah, Marvin could be very good, and their secondary could be very good as well. But Marvin is he's a dude.
I did see he is the highest-rated rookie in Madden. So, if you go off based on that alone, he should have a pretty good year.
Stamp it then. That's it, right?
Exactly.
But you cannot buy his jersey. Is that correct?
Correct.
I read that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what goes into that type of shit, but allegedly.
They reportedly secured the rights to sell his jerseys. That apparently isn't the case. The union has told the NFL, the Cardinals, and Fanatics that they can't sell. So he has not come to a deal with Fanatics, with Ruben and Fanatics. Is that what it is?
That's what it sounds like.
But it was reported that
mumbo jumbo.
He did.
It does sound like some mumbo
jumbo. What does he want? What do you think? He just wants a bigger chunk of what the sales are?
Potentially. I don't know.
Or he wants to sell his own.
I mean, you guys would know a lot more about that than we would. Like, you're not making any money off your jerseys.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they are now, though. When Fanatics came in, maybe the players must be represented more better, or maybe he's fighting to get more, to get a bigger chunk.
I think he wants Ruben to throw him a deep corner ball.
You think they can complete that, Gump?
I mean, if Marvin can grab it, it'd be incredible.
I mean, I think Ruben and Skeens were seen throwing together somewhere.
Yeah.
He's just pitching, brother.
High heat.
Well, Ruben did at the white party. He was all-time quarterback on that. Played touch football on the beach.
Really?
Yeah.
What, like 12 for 12, 12 touchdown passes?
12 for 12. What is this, 1940? No, he threw it like 35 times.
Yeah, you're right.
So Tom
You guys are tired out there playing beach football.
Brady, move your ass to slot.
Yeah,
all right,
definitely
buddy?
did.
I'm playing Q.
Can you imagine that? You know who probably was in that game? Pitbull. Mr. Worldwide. We know Pitbull, right?
Yeah.
He's popped up.
Yeah.
He's popped up in the news. What did he do, Comment? He's paying $1.2 million a year, I believe, to have the naming rights for FIU, Florida International University.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Bingo. To Pitbull Stadium. I mean, if I am
for 5 years, so he signed a 5-year deal.
Yeah. If I'm a college and I'm looking around, and especially in Florida, I'm shitting my pants. Like, if I'm the U Miami, I'm worried now that every single recruit in Florida is going to say, I don't want to go play at some stadium that you guys haven't built yet. I want to go play at Pitbull Stadium, baby.
That's pretty good.
Look what he gets.
Pretty good deal there.
For sure.
Naming rights, he gets the Volley 305 vodka, which obviously is his.
Yeah.
Delicious.
2 suites for up to 40 people, but then the use of the venue for 10 days a year. But does he not have to pay the normal rental fee?
No way.
So he's got 10 concerts alone and make millions.
See, I was thinking that as well, but I mean, usually the Pitbulls, like, how many seats does this stadium hold? Because usually
45 or 50 probably.
You think?
And then if you put people on the field, you can add a lot more.
True, because Pitbull's usually selling out concerts.
I've been there. I mean, it's got to be
250,000.
250,000?
Yeah. I mean,
it's the house that T.Y. Hilton built.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be. When you count the field, there's got to be at least 40,000 you can fit in there.
24,000 in the stands.
So maybe 30. I'd say 30.
Is that is the juice worth the squeeze for a Pitbull concert? Maybe a more intimate show.
It's an intimate night, an intimate acoustic show with Pitbull.
Yeah.
Does he do that?
I mean, bump up the prices too. Supply and demand.
Yeah,
baby.
you're right.
You know,
Smart.
It's
I'll
all right.
go. Hey, Mr. Pitbull, I'll go.
Pitbull
Invite
at
me.
Pitbull Stadium.
That'd be so sweet.
Yeah.
Nobody else can say that.
Bucket list.
I know Ohio State's president or AD is coming out saying everything is on the table when it comes to like revenue, how we need to bring in revenue. In every school, I feel like you talk to any coaches anywhere, all they're doing, how do we bring it? We'll just have more fundraising, more things to bring in money for NIL. And I believe Ohio State's athletic director is talking about naming rights for the stadium, which is a big deal in Ohio Stadium.
Stop being a cheapskate. Pony up.
That's a
Hogger Stadium.
Absolute landmark, historic landmark. If that got named something weird, we're screwed.
Well, why don't they just go to the biggest horseshoe company in the entire planet?
Okay, who would that be?
You tell me, Mr. Horseshoe.
You're right. I'll do some research.
You're the one that played there for 18 years. And then maybe say, like, hey, look, you see what we're doing here. Why don't you guys just fork over $20 million, and we
Per
will
year.
name it the official, because that would work, right? People in Ohio wouldn't be too pissed about
I mean,
that.
if there's a company just called the Horseshoe, then yeah.
Bingo.
But what if you can't say, hey, this is going to be, Poop Face Horseshoe venue?
Why not?
Well, you can. You're right, Ty. You're right. You can. If you have enough money, you can do whatever the hell you want.
What's
Ty.
the official name of the stadium?
Ohio Stadium.
Ohio Stadium at Tom Brenneman Field.
So
The last part is, I don't think that last part is true.
well, for now, it might be. Yeah. So they could do like Jimmy John's Ohio Stadium.
Yeah, see, I don't think, it could happen. If the money is right, it will happen. But I just think that takes away a little bit of that college luster we have.
This is going to start happening everywhere, though.
Because I understand
that college
it, though. I
luster
get
is
it.
dead, brother.
You remember the Bengals, that's Paycor Stadium now.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown said years ago he was never going to do naming rights because it's his dad. Like, his dad started football pretty much. That he didn't want to do it. Obviously, there's a lot of different things going on. I get it. I understand. I mean, I'd have a hard time if you owned something, D-Butt. Wouldn't you let Pitbull buy the naming rights?
I mean, not only Pitbull, that's just the lay of the land now. It's just what it is. Even with the WWE, it's still kind of weird for me seeing that Prime logo in the middle of the stadium. And we know what Logan Paul is doing with his business.
How much did he pay for that?
It had to be a grip. Every match, you see the stack of Prime. Like,
Hydration
that's just what we do now.
Thank you.
Don't they have a new flavor dropping too?
Yeah. Gosh.
Come on,
The
Trent.
name
Green
escapes me.
Hornet?
It's like Midnight Dew.
That's it.
Whoa. What's it called?
It's not that, obviously, because Mountain Dew would have him in litigation for years if he were to do that. But I don't know exactly what the name is. Your kids drink it.
They
you
do.
guys,
They do.
He's already in a lawsuit with LA Knight.
Saw that.
I did see that. What's the deal? What's going on there?
Well, I mean, LA Knight
stole, damaged his vehicle,
and destroyed the
And so
window.
what we got to sue people now?
Strongest
Can't we
windows
figure it
we've
out?
ever seen,
What about
brother.
like back in the day? Let's figure this out. Let's go in the tunnel and
settle
talk this
it
through. Yeah.
Settle in the squared circle, my
Yeah.
friend. I mean, that's what should be
Isn't
done.
that what old school wrestling is?
Yeah, but did you
Now
see
we're
the car?
suing people?
I mean, it was a custom wrapped Hummer EV. Like, brother, this isn't just some
And LA
Toyota
Knight is-
sedan. All right.
He really had his way with this truck, huh? This car.
He destroyed it. This is not him destroying it. This is him stealing it. But still, same thing. GTA, baby. You can't just do that.
The aerobatics that Logan Paul does in the squared circle blow my mind.
Crazy.
I don't care what you say, what people feel about this dude. He is doing freakish things, jumping off the top rope, backflips. What's it called? The deal he did at SummerSlam.
I don't
is that,
even
does that
know.
have a name?
I don't
Jump
know.
up
From the
backwards.
heavens. I don't know.
Whoa, easy. South of heaven. But that isn't even the first time, too. Like, there was the Royal Rumble in San Antonio or Fort Worth where him and Ricochet from both sides.
Oh, yeah.
of the-
Yeah, I
Like, that
saw
was
that.
one of the craziest things of all time. They legitimately
Logan's going to
met
kill
in the
himself
air.
out there.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not, but I'm saying what he's willing to put his body on the line.
Yeah, I think
He's like Shane O'Mac, like a new Shane O'Mac.
Whoa.
Remember Shane used to jump off
AEW Shane O'Mac?
Shane used to jump off like the Space Needle in Seattle. I
Yeah,
feel like he was up there.
Just like Bronson Reed, brother.
Man.
Let's hope Seth Rollins is okay.
Is he okay?
We get a
Internal
report
bleeding.
yet?
Someone check on
Cole
him.
said we were going to get a report on socials. Haven't heard a damn thing.
They're probably still trying to find his
Find a
ribs.
pulse, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, 10 times?
At least.
Put him
I
through
don't
the
know.
damn ring.
Bro, it's brutal. You hear Gump say, we're going to hear a report on socials. You guys ever use that term? I had a guy one time say to me, "Oh yeah, man, just look me up on socials." Or he said, "What's your socials?" And I was, is that how we speak? Do we say that? I don't know if that's not exactly how I would phrase
That's what
it.
Michael Cole said.
No,
bar
I know
for
you were just
bar,
repeating
brother.
Cole. No, it wasn't you, Gump. I'm not getting on you. That's what Cole said. But do you ever say that? Yeah, man, just look me up on my socials.
Find me on socials.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, I guess I just got to get with the times. I'm just old.
Times,
I'm just
brother.
too old, right? I'm way too old. I don't
Talking
understand.
about.
If you do
wake
that
up,
to me, don't do that to me, Ty.
I mean, there's a chance.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, before you leave later, I'll probably say to you, like, oh, yeah, dude, I'll talk to you soon.
Hit me up on my socials. Yeah. Hey, you guys know Harrison Butker? Is he the highest paid kicker in the league now?
He's the highest paid kicker ever, I believe, my friend.
Every new deal is like the newest.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever. It's
yeah,
not
true.
ever though. Like I think we sometimes think every player is breaks the bank. It's not true. We're just hearing of all these players that break the bank. There's 50 other players, 45 other players on these teams that aren't getting paid billion or aren't breaking the bank and making these astronomical contracts. So like we hear about all the ones that are the highest paid ever, but Harrison Butker, we see this new deal. Chiefs are signing standout kicker Harrison Butker, 4-year, $25.6 million as a kicker. Wow.
I think APY, what is it, six and a half a year or something like that?
$17.75 million guaranteed. The deal ties Butker to KC through the 2028 season.
Yeah, negotiated himself on the end there.
So he doesn't have an agent.
No.
Do you think he had a lawyer look it over?
Yeah, for sure. But it's smart. If you're a kicker,
how's it work if to negotiate a contract, you technically are supposed to use an agent that is like certified through the NFLPA, right?
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
But I know guys that don't. They say, hey, I'm just going to hire a lawyer and pay him hourly to do my deal.
That was Caleb. Yeah.
Are there lawyers? There's got to be just a lawyer that's certified through the PA. Then I'm guessing. Right?
I don't know. We got caught up in it kind of with Caleb Williams, and it kind of became some mumbo jumbo. They tried to make it out that he was lying about something, and they weren't being forthright about something. But if you're in this position, even with Caleb, you're the top pick. Like you kind of know what the deal is going to be. You work through some different things. Harrison Butker, hey, I'm one of the best kickers out here. Obviously, you got Justin Tucker out here, but outside of him, Butker is probably in that conversation. So, hey, this is what the numbers are. This is where we need to be. And obviously, the Chiefs got it done. Another thing that they secured going into this season, got the kicker. Obviously, the offense, the defense, everything's in line for them to make another run at the Lambeau.
D-But everything that's going on with the Chiefs, does that almost worry you that things seem like they're going too well? Like things here, and especially, let's say, I don't know, do they have a plan if old Patty Mahomes is going to play in the preseason at all?
Hey, he's played.
I was going to say, I feel like Reed typically plays.
Right?
Yeah, he typically
played like a whole first half.
What if he comes out and just lights up? I know we had that at one point. I forget. I mean, probably any year that Aaron ever played in the preseason when I was with the Packers, maybe it was right after the lockout or right after the Super Bowl year. Aaron played in the preseason games, and he was like, I don't know if he had an incomplete pass all preseason. He was on fire.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't know. Like this, can it even get much better than this? And I think he might have won the MVP.
He won the MVP that year.
He won the MVP. Yeah. But I was like, for a second, I'm like, man, this guy's on fire even more than normal. And I feel like with the Chiefs, it's like everything is all positive, arrow going up, here we go, everything's going great. Like, do they need some adversity?
You know what? That team, that organization, they've dealt with so much off the field. Obviously bad.
Andy Reid's a Zen man. He's
they just figured out. Obviously there's a bunch of bad shit they've dealt with, but also even like the Taylor Swift thing, like outside, like to be able to deal with that. We always talk about outside noise, distractions. I felt like they handled that great, and obviously they went on to make a run and got hot when they needed to get hot. Things weren't going great during the season. That's probably why he wasn't voted as the top player in the NFL last season. But obviously they figured out. So I can't doubt this team. There's too many pieces coming back. You got Chris Jones, you got Spags still calling the defense, you got McDuffie, you got all these offensive weapons, and then they go out and get Worthy. I'm hearing Hollywood Brown is tearing up camp as well. So I'm not gonna be a fool and doubt these guys at all.
That's what, like, the adversity they face is just like during the season because the expectations are so high. Like I feel like there hasn't been a team since like those old Patriots where it was like, oh, these guys can just coast till December. Like they might be like 5-6 or whatever, and then they'll turn it on when it matters. Like it was last year when they went to Lambeau on Monday night, and I think the Packers were 5-6. It was in like late November or sometime around there, and they got beat, and everyone was saying, like, oh, well, this is fine with the year. Yeah,
the run is over.
Yeah, exactly. And then boom, right after that, they hit the ground running and make it. It's like they are one of those few teams that can actually be like, all right, let's flip the switch right now. Let's turn it on. Now it matters. Like, let's go. So like the expectation. It isn't necessarily that they're going to go undefeated, but we just assume that they're going to beat the shit out of whoever they're playing every week. So, like, when they don't look great or the offense is a little clunky or a little choppy, like, people act like it's their downfall. So, like, they deal with that, and then when it matters, they understand what they have to do.
Yeah, like Christmas last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes threw 2 pick sixes, and everyone was like, oh, man, this is it. But the biggest question was, this team's never – played a playoff game on the road. That was the whole entire storyline last year going into the playoffs.
And then they went down and they threw old Justin Tucker's gear, right?
Yeah, bingo. That was in the title game. Yeah. But in the week before, they beat the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, in the
underdogs.
In the cold, as dogs, because Bass missed that kick at the end. But they've answered every question. Like, it is now the old Patriots team's like, yep, they're going to be in it at the end. We don't really have – if you're a Chiefs fan, you are officially in, like, hey, our season doesn't start till January now, because that is when –
Is that – did you like that? I mean, you had that for forever, your whole life. In New England. You like it, but also at the same time, like, man, can I just enjoy a victory like in October?
Part of that. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing as a Patriots fan who has now had to transition into this new era of Patriots fandom is like the week one. Before, legitimately, and I'm not kidding, until I was 24 years old.
You're like, what, 26 now?
29. Until I was like 24 years old, week 1 didn't matter once. There was never a time in September where I was like, boy, we better hope that this.
So now you're saying, hey, we need to get to a hot start. Well, now are you nervous leading up to week 1?
Yeah, exactly. It's not even like, hey, need to get out to a hot start. It's like, I need to see who we are going to be. Like, who
and
are the Patriots?
Post-Belichick
Bingo.
era, too.
Now,
like, what are they?
Now it's even more so because, like, right after Tom was Cam Newton. So, like, week 1, it was like, all right, this is a whole different team. Like, our offense is going to look different.
That was during COVID, correct?
That was the COVID year. And then, year 2 was Mac Jones' rookie year. And that's the biggest thing, especially with Drake May now. It's like, after the first year of Mac Jones, everybody in New England, I think kind of everybody in general, was like, oh, they're going to be fine because they found the next guy and it's Mac Jones and he's a good player. After his rookie year, that was absolutely the case. He came in second in Rookie of the Year voting. He was actually he was the favorite to win Rookie of the Year basically the entire regular season until Jamar Chase had like 3 touchdowns against the Chiefs later on for the Bengals, and that was the year the Bengals ended up going to the Super Bowl too, so made more sense. But even then, like, so much can change. Like, year 2 and year 3, we saw what happened with Mac Jones. Obviously, we drafted Drake May.
Yeah, what happened?
Number 3 over. I mean, Matt Patricia was the OC. Yeah. And Josh McDaniels left. That kind of is what happens. And then by then, the case was out on him because, like, all that, him being a dirty player, twisting ankles and stuff.
Kicking dongs.
Kicking all that stuff. Like, Patriots fans didn't care about that because we were winning. So it's like, hey, man.
Thought he was good.
Do your thing. Yeah, and he was. Like, he had the highest completion percentage in the history of the NFL for a rookie quarterback. Like, for the most part, people were pretty sold on Mac Jones. But then once McDaniels left, you talk about that continuity when it comes to young quarterbacks and what Saban just said about Caleb Williams and development. Like, his development stopped, Mac Jones's, as far as getting better in the same system because – that is the biggest thing. And that is the other thing about these rookie guys is, and I mean, C.J. Stroud is going to have to do it again. As good as you can be your rookie year, and I expect C.J. Stroud to be good. I'm not saying that he won't be. I'm just saying more so like, hey, it can flip so fast. Dayball has said it. You go from Bozo or Bono to Bozo, whatever the hell it is. And there's that saying outhouse to penthouse, penthouse to outhouse, whatever the hell it is. Like, it can change so damn fast in the NFL, but at quarterback specifically. Like, if you aren't good for your first 3-4 years, like, people are going to say like, but I mean, we're doing it with Trevor Lawrence. Like, Trevor Lawrence, his first year with Urban Meyer, everyone tossed that out the window, rightfully so. Yeah, like, kind of makes sense. Like, whatever. But then, what happens? Doug Peterson comes in. They go to the divisional round. They beat the Chargers, that massive comeback, and he played like dog shit. But still, they beat the Chargers. Then they almost beat the Chiefs late. They lost by like 6 points. And it was like, okay, Trevor Lawrence is the future. Then Trevor Lawrence comes back this past year, and they don't win the division. They're the 1 seed, and he has a couple injuries. And now it's like, why the hell are you paying Trevor Lawrence this much money? Like, the conversation just changes so often at the quarterback position where it's like, when it comes to the New England Patriots, yeah, we won't know what we have for 6 years with Drake May, honestly. And with the Chiefs, I think that's why it's so cool, because they are now at that point where it's, hey, none of this matters. Even the November games, and you guys have mentioned like November football is the most important football, and obviously late in the season, but by November you kind of have to be hitting your stride and making your push to the Super Bowl. Like, the Chiefs don't have to do that because they can make their stride for the Super Bowl whenever the hell they want to.
Yeah, I guess you mentioned Jamar Chase in there. What's going on with Jamar? He's at a hold in Cincinnati, correct? Obviously, is he want more than Justin Jefferson money? Is that what he's asking for? It's gonna be tough for the Bengals for them to do that.
Probably, I would assume so.
When does he need to practice? Like but if you're playing, say you're playing DB or receiver, you guys are running all day, every day. You're full speeds, like so much running. When do you have to get to camp just to get your legs so you don't start out the first month of the season and feel like you're dead?
I mean, it's nothing like you can do all the training, all the working out and shit, but it's nothing like actually playing football. So you definitely need to get in there, run routes, get back on the same page with Burrow, maybe take some hits, take some bumps. He needs to be out there, and I would definitely think he wants that Justin Jefferson money. That was his whole running mate in college. He was the one that went, top 5, top 6. He's done everything right since he stepped foot in the league, so I would definitely want that kind of reset the market type of money if I'm Jamar Chase. But are they going to pony up and give it to him? Are they going to keep him happy? I think so. At some point, I think Mr. Brown, has to figure out and get number 1 back out there.
I'm curious. I know Katie Blackburn, his daughter, is doing a lot of the day-to-day stuff or more of it now. But the Bengals, I mean, we know they don't love to do that, but you kind of have to pay people.
They don't have a choice now. They're going to potentially let T. Higgins just walk after this year, and if they don't, like, he still has 2 years left on his current contract, but it's like you'd almost be better off doing it right. Like this isn't getting any cheaper.
No,
if they
definitely
wait,
not.
if they wait 2 years, then he's going to be making
Who else is out there? Who's the next? Who's the next receiver other than Jamar?
CD Lamb is waiting for his money as well, which you would expect. He wants around that Justin Jefferson number. He's going to get his money. We saw Tyreek Hill, who had a deal in place, but he got more guaranteed money. You got to figure it out when you got a stud like this at a position like this. It's like a pass rusher. It's like a blindside tackle. It's like a quarterback. At some point, you got to figure it out. You got to pay them their money. But we were talking about quarterbacks, expectations, great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
In the booth.
Yeah, Fox came out with their six. They have six groups or six, I don't know, what do you call it?
6 booths.
Yeah.
6 booths.
Mm-hmm.
6 teams, I guess, that are going to be doing games. You can't just say 2 people because a lot of them have a sideline person as well.
4 of them.
So we see Fox, did this just officially came out today, Z? Is that what this is?
Yep.
Their broadcast crews: Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. Phew, that's a power crew right there.
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse. Kevin Burkhardt's awesome. I don't know how many people know him. They should. He's the man. He's great. Joe Davis, Greg Olsen, pay him all over. That'll be interesting for Greg.
Good too.
Strongest second line in the biz.
Very strong second line. Kenny Albert, John Vilma, Megan Levy, right? Yeah, she's from the UFC.
Yes, correct.
She's great. Really good.
Like Vilma, too.
Yeah, Vilma's the man.
Yep.
Adam Amin, Mark Sanchez, Christina Pink. Okay, I like Sanchez a lot. And
Sanchez, okay.
Yeah, they're great. They're all good. Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, Stink, I see you. And Jen Hale, here we go.
Stink get bumped there?
I don't love what they did to Moose.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Why do we have to label them 1 to 6, though? We don't have to label them 1 to 6.
But I mean, they did.
We don't have to. In 6 is Kevin Kugler, Daryl Moose, Johnston, and Laura Oakman. We don't have to label. We don't have to put numbers next to it.
But they did.
Got to.
They did.
But they didn't say like you're the 6th out of 6.
shot.
They just said we're just listing these teams.
No, because if they would have done that, then why would you put? I mean, we all know Brady and Burkhardt and that crew is number 1. Mm-hmm. We know Greg Olson's number 2. Obviously, Kenny Albert's a legend in the game. He's number 3.
Yeah.
Adam Amin,
Boom.
upstart, rising star.
Chris Myers is awesome too. Chris Myers has been awesome for 30, 40 years.
See, I'm sure he doesn't care because he's been doing it so long. Daryl Moose Johnston used to be in the number 1 booth with John Lynch like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, and now what? He's just picking up the scraps down in the 6 hole?
Kidding me? What's he called?
Is he even on Fox? He's on Fox Support Day?
Panthers, Patriots every week?
Moose was with Saragusa's crew.
Yeah,
I remember sitting in the production meetings before games with them. They were always a fun group to talk to before the game.
What was the favorite group as far as media for both of you that you guys like to talk to?
I mean, we had Troy and Joe, or we had Troy and Joe forever on Fox. In Green Bay.
That's the best.
I feel like every game we had was Troy and Joe because they were always in Green Bay. We used to see them Friday night at Chives, the place where people would go to dinner. They would show up with their crew. I was telling Zeke before this, so Moose and Goose, Saragusa, RIP, unbelievable player, awesome person. Goose, I remember sitting in production meetings with them, and I saw Goose, and I didn't even want to talk football. I want to talk him as an actor. He was in the movie called 25th Hour.
Yep, classic.
Spike Lee movie, I believe.
Yep.
And Goose was awesome. Had an accent, was like this gangster. And all I did was ask him about it, what it was like to work on set. We didn't talk any football. It was so much fun. And I think I did. I talked to him after a game one time. Goose grabbed me on the field because he was a sideline guy and got me in a headlock and pulled me over and did a quick post game talk, little interview with him, and he was so cool, man. I enjoyed him. What about you, D-Bud?
He was awesome. You know what? I honestly love when Romo got in the booth, just because number 1, how energetic he was, and then number 2, to hear he really gave kind of like an inside look of how the quarterbacks think. Hey, this is what's coming. I got single high. I'm going on the backside. So it was really good to hear him kind of work through things. So I would probably say when Romo got in the booth early on, his first maybe year, I was like, okay, because I didn't watch a bunch of TV copies. Usually we'll go back and watch it on the iPad and watch the all 22. But sometimes you want to go, for me at least, if I was playing the team, I would want to go and watch a couple games if they had Romo on the call. But Goose was awesome. He just popped up on my algo, obviously with Hard Knocks. Up. He had one of the most, him and Shannon Sharp. They had the rookie meetings with the guys mimicking Shannon Sharp, and then Goose pranking the tight end group, locking them in their meeting room. So RIP to a legend, man.
I am pumped for Brady. So everything you just said about Romo, it's those are the every reason you just said is why I am so excited for Brady. Like the stories that he is going to have with every coach, every GM. Because I mean, what we've heard about Belichick in his like pregame meetings is he gives you an entire layout of every single franchise. And like Brady, as we know, is a psychopath when it comes to football. Like he's going to remember all that stuff and then just rattle off.
He's going to prepare
everything.
He's going to prepare like he's playing.
We also talked about this like a couple weeks ago. Do you think quarterbacks are going to be way more forthcoming with him when talking about stuff than they have been? Like obviously Aikman's a Hall of Famer.
They're going to be
but
like scared. They're going to be like, you're going to just volunteer all this information. I want this guy to know that I know ball. Like I want him to like be impressed with what I'm saying. So yeah, these young guys, can you imagine? Like it's Tom Brady.
Well, even the old guys now grew up watching him. Like, I mean, Rodgers is the oldest guy in the NFL, but you look at like the truly like elite crop of guys, like a lot of them grew up, Brady's 15, 16 years older than a lot of those guys.
Stafford, he obviously loves Lamar Jackson, and even like the questions that Brady's going to ask him, in the meeting. Obviously, they're going to be, but the question that he'll have dialed up. And speaking of, Greg Olsen, obviously he got bumped with Brady coming in, but he was my current favorite color guy because he lays out game situation, he lays out time clock, and obviously being a tight end, you got to completely know the run game, you got to know the pass game, you got to know coverages, you got to know so much. So having a good, play-by-play guy to kind of set you up that you can kind of go off and give some good insight, good info, and get in and out. I'm interested to obviously see, Greg Olsen still doing his thing on Fox, but I think Olsen for sure deserves a one spot somewhere. Hopefully they get that figured out.
And those old guys, like those old NFL guys, like Ty mentioned, like Stafford and Rodgers, it's like those dudes, when Tom is talking about them, like he's going to pull back a play when the Patriots are playing the Lions in 2013 that Stafford made, and that type of stuff is going to be so cool.
When they announced that he had the job, I'm like, there's no guarantee that somebody's good. Like it's tough to be good to be good during a game and try to like articulate what you're thinking in that short amount of time in between plays, all that stuff. It's not easy. You can't just mail it in. But then, especially after I saw Tom at the UFL game, I believe, XFL, UFL, whatever it's called now, when he was up in the booth for just a quick little bit, he was great. Like I didn't have any doubt, but that made me, okay, Tom's going to be awesome. Like he seemed very comfortable. He seemed like he was just able to speak, and he wasn't sitting there like, oh, what should I say? I'm trying to be too buttoned up. I'm trying to be what they tell me to be. Like, didn't Rex Ryan even say that early on? He was trying to like say on TV what he was trying to be a TV person. He wasn't being Rex. Yeah. Now he's Rex, and like he's awesome. That's what we want. We want Tom. We want Tom's brain on TV, and I think that's why I think pairing him with Kevin Burkhardt, absolute home run. I think Burkhardt's going to tee him up and do a great job working off of him. I'm curious to see how it goes. What's the first game Tom has?
Just wondered.
Browns and Cowboys.
Cowboys, yep.
Where is that? It's in Cleveland, I believe.
I believe you're right.
Tom will probably be, taking backstage tour of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the day before.
He should if he's not already considering it.
Imagine when Tom though. So a lot of times, 2 days before the game, those guys will come to practice in the watch practice.
Like Friday.
Imagine Tom walking in with they hand him a little roster and everything. I remember seeing Troy and Joe always walking around. They were there every day, it felt like. So they knew everybody. But Tom's going to be walking around watching their Friday practice or Saturday practice. They might have a little more pep in their step, I think, some of those guys, when they see Big Tom cruise in knowing that Tom's doing the game.
Absolutely. When Tommy B's in the building, it'll definitely be different. I'm also excited. Obviously, we're excited about the play-by-play, but the ManningCast, that's been one of my favorite things, favorite additions. Now we got Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Every Monday?
I think every one that they do, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Early, he's supposed to join them early in the game, right? Or in the first half, I think they said.
I believe so, yes.
Bill's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So you can tell him what's going to happen.
You guys, I watch a lot of ManningCast.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from Troy and Joe and everything that they do, which I watch them, but I just love seeing Peyton and Eli go back and forth. They don't need guests, really. I don't need them.
When it's outside of football, like I'm not interested in seeing an actor, an actress.
And they gotta ask him hey, can you predict the next play or whatever? And a lot of times there's too much of delay and the play already happened.
And you can see Peyton just completely dialed into the game. Like, all right, they need to do this. It's 2 minutes. So like when they have quarterbacks on, like Russell Wilson, I remember he was one of my favorite guys to jump on there. Having a guy that
Tom.
And now having Tom on there, but having Belichick on there, who is obviously knows defense better than anybody out here, to have to see those conversations kind of unfold. And I'm one of the guys that go back and forth. You know, I watch obviously some of Joe and Troy, and then at some points, depending on who the guest is, I'll go back to the ManningCast. But I love to see it. Every time they're on, I try to check them out for at least a few quarters.
Wonder if they have any new technology for Peyton to use.
I'm
Remember
sure
he went over to that AI board table situation. That was really cool.
That was sick.
They should give Bill one of those too. Funny you asked, Pete. Here we go. I got my own little guy. He's driving and he's doing it.
They just need to hook his iPad up so that he can just download a play immediately and then do the AI thing. Because if you give him one of those green screen AI tables, I don't
like he's a weatherman. Is he like a weatherman? You know, and it's a green screen behind you. You gotta look at the screen here to talk about what you're doing. Well, the good thing with Peyton though, like Peyton loves to mess around and joke. And Eli, I think Eli is such underrated humor.
Yes.
Like everything Eli does, like his little remarks when they're going to break or little things he says that I pick up on him. I love what he's doing. They're going to mess with Bill. Like they're going to like go back and forth with Bill, and I think Bill's going to be able to give it back.
Yeah, I mean, if how he was on draft night is any indication of like how he's going to be on the show, like he's funny, you know, and he gets it and he can give it back. But then also like he obviously knows what the hell he's talking about, which is the best part, because I think that is the biggest issue with not issue, but like the hardest thing for a viewer with the ManningCast is like when they have someone who's not really like a football-centric guest, it's very easy to check out and think you're watching just like a podcast, and then you remember like, oh no, this is actually like the Monday Night Football game. Like I've missed the last like 6 minutes of what's going on because I'm kind of just like on my phone or whatever, whereas I feel like if you have Bill on there talking with those two, like you're going to be much more locked in on what's actually going on the field.
A lot of NFL history between those three too. Obviously, Eli beat Bill twice, biggest game, Super Bowl, and then obviously Bill had Peyton's number for the longest time. So, and then he went to Denver and beat him. So it's a lot of, I'm sure, conversations, little funny digs that'll be going back and forth. So I'm excited for it.
And it's going to stuff that Peyton and Eli say will remind Bill of things like, oh, funny, and then he's going to have like multiple things that may have happened pregame before any time they played with each other or what happened after the game. Like I know Bill always would seem to find Aaron Rodgers. Like he always would see Bill and Aaron after games, or like Bill would come find him. And I know how much that means to Aaron. Like when a coach like that would come up to you, I know anyone probably would feel the same way. Like not even. It doesn't have to be Bill Belichick, but it is Bill Belichick, and he's coming up to you. He's coming up to a guy like Aaron Rodgers and kind of, I guess, just telling him, I don't know what he tells him, what they talk about, but it's all positive things. Like, that's got to give you some juice. That's got to help you. Not like Aaron needs any more juice or like needs any of that, but like I think it just what it does when someone with that stature tells you they appreciate what you've been doing. Like that's got to just keep you going and it's feeling great.
Yeah, just a respect level. I mean, Aaron's last year in Green Bay when the Patriots went to Lambeau, like they had a discussion before the game for 20 minutes. And then, I mean, Bill's last game as the head coach of the Patriots was in the snow against the Jets, and he was the only one. I mean, obviously Saleh, he shook his hand, but then Bill beelined it for Rodgers, said something, had an interaction with Rodgers, and then he was out of there. Like that was kind of the last scene of Bill Belichick in Gillette being walked off before he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame and all of that. But as the coach, like it was him and Rodgers having a nice little interaction.
You think Bill will get a head coaching gig next year?
Yeah.
Who was it that was just saying like
Troy?
Why? Yeah, Troy came on and was saying like why would there be a bet? Like why is it a guarantee? And I'm like, I don't know. Is it not a guarantee that he gets a job?
I don't think it's a guarantee.
Like does Vrabes? What about Vrabes?
I think it's the odds. Odds might be better if Vrabes gets the job
than Bill.
Depends.
I was surprised if Bill, this go around he missed, and then obviously he'll be a year older. And then if you're hiring, usually you're trying to rebuild. So do you want to hire? You want to rebuild with an older coach, and then everything that obviously we know that record's out there, the all-time wins record. We know how much Bill loves football, but Bill's doing a lot in media this year too. Maybe he might love that. He's doing a bunch of different things. Obviously he'll be on this show as well. But so I'm excited, looking forward to what the future is for Bill. But I wouldn't say it's a guarantee that he's on the sideline again next year. Vrabes, he's still with the Cleveland Browns right now. I think he's saying it won't have any game time duties or game date duties or whatever, but I think Vrabes will get back in there.
Vrabes is hilarious. I was with him out in Lake Tahoe, the American Century Championship, and we said, man, Vrabes, what are you doing? You running sprints with the team? What are you doing? He's like, whatever they ask me to do. Like, he's such a coach. And he's like, we're saying, well, what are you running, scout team defense? He's like, if coach asks me to, that's what I'm doing. I'm just there to help and learn and enjoy being around these young guys. I'm like, all right, Vrabes.
That's awesome.
I see you. Like, he's a football guy. guy.
Yeah, their defense has to love that. Like if you're Myles Garrett.
Can you imagine? And also, Rabes, he's not a position coach, so he doesn't directly coach anybody. So you can have a great relationship with that guy. Like I know I was very close. Like you're always close to your position coach, but he's always your position coach. There's always that dynamic.
Yep.
But like I said, Kevin Green, RIP, unbelievable guy. He was the outside backers coach. He wasn't my coach directly. I was with Winston Moss. So me and KG have a different relationship than you do with Winston Moss because KG's not the one grading me and telling me everything every day after practice. So like the fact that Vrabes is that guy for every player on the Cleveland Browns, like come on now. Like the confidence I think that could bring. And like the tiny little, just every single day. Like, hey, what'd you do? What would you do back in the day when you were playing if you saw this? And Vrabes has like a Aaron Rodgers recall where he could be, and back in 1999 when I was in the Pittsburgh Steelers, this happened. Like, I think guys like that can bring a huge impact.
Like him and Pepper Johnson was out in New England when I was young.
Pep?
Oh yeah, Pep. He ran the scout team. He was a D-line coach, but he always brought energy, and everybody, offense, defense, special teams, everybody could relate to Pep. Everybody could have a quick conversation with him. He was definitely one of those jail guys for sure.
He's an Ohio State legend. I played with his son at Ohio State. We're up against a hard out here, boys. Pat will be back tomorrow in this chair. Appreciate you guys. Great to see everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Well done.
No,
Hawker. Well done, Hawker.
Almost
Hawker.
Those last 5 seconds before the hard out, I think someone speeds the clock up. It feels like.
It happens.
Is that real?
Well, it's because you're looking at it and you're talking, so it's like, wow, I'm watching these seconds go, and I still have like a sentence left.
Yeah, it's good. The best is when someone's on and they think like the show's done. Pat does a good job.
Still live. Pete Thamel yesterday.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. One of my favorite outs of all time.
What did he do? What was it?
Kind of just, all right, Pete, we'll see.
I was because Pete kept talking.
Yeah.
Because I was watching and I knew the hard out was coming. I see Pete keep going, and Pat always, Pat
goes hard out. Hard out.
Well, I love how he gives a little salute sometimes for people. But maybe they can't hear the music. I can't hear the music from my spot.
Really?
From here I can, but not at home.
Got to fix that, dude.
Okay. You tell me. Yeah, I'm doing really good with technology over there. The cameras
saying.
they send and everything works out.
What are you talking about? You look great.
Sounds great on socials.
It does.
Great callback, Goomp.
It does.
Great callback. Gumpy, do you really think the Dolphins are going to be good this year? Don't give me your garbage, because when I talk behind the scenes, is that what we do, pal?
No, I'll shoot you straight. If we still had Wilkins, I would say we were going to go on a run. I am very concerned what the defense looks like without Wilkins.
Who's the D coordinator?
Weaver from
Anthony
the
Weaver.
Ravens.
Tony Weaver.
Yeah.
So Fangio was there.
Yep.
And that's
Philly.
And they
all
had
hated
issues
him.
with Fangio. What is the deal? I've never heard a team have issues
They didn't.
like that
They
with
didn't like
Fangio.
the old firm.
Yeah, it was a lot of it seemed like the vets. You know, the
Bullshit.
guys that kind of been around, and especially it seems like the secondary group was a little louder.
What does Vic do?
I'm not sure. I know.
What kind of scheme
He wouldn't
are they
let,
playing?
so he wouldn't let Ramsey follow anybody was the big thing
That
for
was one
Ramsey.
thing.
And then Cam Smith, I believe, was drafted in the second round. He never played a snap.
Yeah, I mean that's tough. From not being there, you don't know if it's on the player. You don't know if it's on the coach kind of working. Man, as a front office guy, if I draft somebody in the second round, I'm expecting my coaching staff to get that guy on the field. Like, you got to have a nickel package or something, a 4-team contributor on special teams. You got to get something out of that guy. But the D-line depth up front is the biggest issue with the Dolphins right now. Obviously losing Wilkins, but we lost Phillips last year to injury, lost Chubb last year to injury. I love our secondary group, especially bringing over Jordan Poyer. Obviously got Ramsey there. We'll see what we get out of Cam Smith. But expectations are high. I'm seeing a lot of highlights from Tua. Mr. Show me the money down there in Miami throwing the Tyreek Hill.
Chop Robinson, they're also saying looks very good too.
Chop.
So if they can weather the storm to start the season and like halfway through the year, you get Chubb and Phillips back, like that'll be massive.
They lost Van Ginky too.
That
didn't
is
they?
that's a heartbreaker.
Minnesota.
Spike's back with Flores in Minnesota.
Yeah. And Ginky is one of the best in the business.
He's a dog.
I mean, the AFC East is also tough. Like if Rodgers is back healthy the whole year, and that
Why
team
would he
stays
not be
healthy-
back though? Why? Like from what we see, we know Aaron's Achilles looks good, right?
I mean, yeah.
Why would he not be Aaron?
I think they're winning the fucking Super Bowl, but I'm just saying.
I guess you are high on
You
him.
say if until you see it.
But I guess some people are thinking like, oh, well, okay, so they're not running the triple option. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not running he's not a running quarterback. We can clearly see his arm is still very live. He seems to still have all this accuracy. I guess it doesn't truly matter until you do it in games.
Comes down to the offensive
And it's
line
also
still,
the Jets. Like Bob Saleh. I mean,
Bob doesn't have anything to do with the offense,
well,
though, really.
at some point, bad coaching does find a way to show up.
Who'd they bring in though? So Hackett's the OC, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't they bring somebody else in? I felt like they were talking about it. Maybe not.
I'm not sure if they did, but it is the O-line.
Yeah, because like they got Tyron Smith, and like when he's healthy, he's obviously unbelievable, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy for the last like 5 years, and he's protecting Rodgers' blindside. So
hopefully they don't have to score a bunch of points.
But they did draft Olu Fashanu, so maybe he comes in a little bit quicker. But like that was the deal last year too. Is what they ended up losing like 3 guys on their offensive line like pretty quickly, and it seems like no teams have enough depth on the offensive line.
Yeah, Vera Tucker if he comes back. They got John Simpson from Baltimore, and I think one Morgan Moses from Baltimore. I think like they went and got guys. It's just that's why I said because you just got to wait and see. But I mean they're loaded. Like Breece Hall,
should be.
Mike
Should
Williams,
be legit. Jeff Ulbrich, the D coordinator. I love that guy there.
Garrett Wilson,
their defense. Like you should say, hey, we score 17. We're winning most of these games. That should
you would
be the
think.
case.
Yeah, and I mean they're gonna score more than 17 points. Like Garrett Wilson is so fucking good
Mike
at
Williams.
football. Yeah,
Breece Hall.
Goodness.
Oh yeah,
They got weapons.
Even Tyler Conklin. Like, you can throw Conklin in there too. Like they are stacked.
Who is the back? Is it Tyrod?
Yes,
It is Tyrod.
Yeah. So when got Tyrod,
He just turned. He didn't turn 40, right?
No.
Aaron posted something and said Aaron was messing with him.
Yeah,
I'm
he
guessing,
was.
right? Okay.
He's-
He said
he's-
happy birthday. He put
he's
the big
up there.
4
He's
over.
up-
I was just gonna say he's
got to
I
be
mean,
late
36 or something.
Yeah,
He's
he
not
was on
40.
he was on Ray Lewis's Ravens teams, wasn't
Was he?
I'm pretty sure.
He's been around.
35.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So Aaron was
30s.
messing with him, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think the Jets are going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be.
They should be.
Bills. I'm interested to see how the Bills look. New wide receiver room, new secondary. Josh Allen.
Who's their receivers?
Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, MVS,
And,
Yep.
Shakir.
Khalil Shakir, and then
Matt
Kincaid,
Collins.
Dawson.
I'm
Knox.
Good tight ends.
I'm a Josh Allen guy. Like
They always got a
that
chance
dude,
with him.
I think everything about him. Like maybe I'm biased because I saw him out at the American Century Championship.
Could be.
But he can hit a ball about 7,000 miles with his driver. He was talking. We came up behind. We were the group behind him a few times. He came up. He's talking trash to Aaron the whole time. Aaron's trying to say something to him. Josh goes out there, bombs like a 380-yard drive, and he turns and points at Aaron, like flicks him off. Like, yeah, have fun following that, pal. Like he's got some moxie to him, and we know the physical tools he has, and he's not scared to throw his head around.
I mean, very rarely has it been his fault when they've kind of imploded. Like he played great. I mean, their defense kind of stunk
Who's their
down
D
the
coordinator?
stretch
Remember
last
the
year.
whole
It's still McDermott, I think.
Leslie
isn't it?
Frazier
Or he's
situation?
He's calling the
left.
defensive
Yeah.
plays.
Is Leslie back in the league? Because didn't he
Not that
say
I
he was
know of.
taking a year off
Yeah,
or something?
not that I
That's a
know
weird
of.
situation.
It was weird. I don't think we got real answers.
None of us know.
We got
Full
a lot
year
of
of Joe Brady
speculation.
though.
Yeah.
Remember they made the switch from Ken Dorsey to Joe Brady last year, and then the offense kind of changed. And
After
so-
Dorsey lost his mind.
Mitch Morris
Yeah.
at
Up in the
center,
booth.
too, will be a big loss, I think.
Where'd he go?
He's on the
Jacksonville.
Jaguars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I like Mitch.
They lost like 8. I mean, Tre'Davious White, he's still out there. Micah.
Milano's banged up.
Is Micah not signed with anybody?
I don't think.
I don't think so.
No.
Bring him home.
Him and Simmons still both out
Justice
there.
Simmons
And
been out
X,
there.
to be
Wow.
honest. Howard's still out there, too.
Yeah.
Gilmore. There are a bunch of dudes still out there.
Ken Dorsey, I know Cleveland hired him to be the OC, but Stefanski said at the beginning of camp that he's calling plays. So Dorsey's the OC, but he doesn't call plays. That's a weird title, I think, at times. I know they had that. Like Joe Philbin had that title in Green Bay. He was the offensive coordinator. Joe was awesome, great coach. But Mike McCarthy called the plays.
It's like how you get a head coaching job, though, right? Like all the Rams guys who are OCs. I mean, even the Bengals dude. What's his name? Who's the head coach? Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the OC.
Couple Chiefs guys.
Yeah, couple Chiefs.
You don't
dudes.
have to call plays, really, to get a head gig.
No, isn't that the whole thing? Like, well, they're bringing the system from insert name of offensive guy who's the head coach.
It's all about the system and who you're under. Now, Zeke popped my ear. Leslie Frazier, the assistant head coach with the Seattle Seahawks. Is that correct, Zeke?
Oh, shit.
Okay, we should have known that.
Oh, yeah.
Assistant head coach.
Mike McDonald.
Smart. What if the Seahawks surprise some people? Gino's back in Kansas.
That's a tough division, too.
We just don't ever hear it. Seattle.
Is it all
so
just
far
West Coast?
away?
Is that
I
why?
think so.
Is
I
that
think
what?
so.
Like Christian McCaffrey in college, he was killing it, but he was out at Stanford, so like Eastern time zone, we didn't really see much.
At Pacific Northwest, you just
it's just
like
its own world.
I grew up growing up on the West Coast. Prime time was Oregon and the Huskies every
Really?
Saturday night, 7 o'clock.
Did
there.
you? Okay, so did you feel the same way about stuff happening like in the Midwest than we might feel about the out west and the Pacific
No,
Northwest?
because you still get so much of it.
And
because it's just huge, right?
Dominates the media.
Like recent years, and this is not a shot at Tone Diggs or Nick or the Steelers, but recent years with Seattle has felt like the Steelers. Like, yeah, they're going to be okay, they're going to be good, but like
they're not going to be bad.
You don't expect them to do anything just because of the teams in their division. Like the Niners are so good, and even now with the Rams being back, it's like the Rams are so good with Puka and Cooper Kupp. And, I mean, who knows this year with losing Aaron Donald, but, like, similar situation where you just never expect them to be one of those teams that's in it at the end. And, like, that's kind of what the Seahawks are. But with McDonald, I mean, their defense is really good. They got a bunch of young talent. I mean, wide receivers, D-Butt brought up, you know, Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Roma Dunze being like a top 3. Like if Jackson Smith and Jigba is good this year, like Lockett, DK, and him, that could be a top
Kenneth
3.
Walker's a dog too.
Yeah, Kenny Walker.
Devin Witherspoon on that defense, like he was popping last year as a rookie.
Yeah, Seattle could surprise some people.
Julian Love, he just signed a new deal back there. They got some.
They got John Schneider out there, you know, pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Kobe Bryant,
Pete Carroll. Have we heard? Has anyone heard from Pete Carroll?
He's just kind of hanging out in Washington.
What's he doing?
Just living.
I don't love what they did to Pete.
He wanted. So did he want to have kind of a front office gig or not? Or they probably offered him, hey, you're going to fire you, but not really because we're going to move you into this senior role. And he said, no, I'm good.
Didn't he say I fought to be the head coach?
Yeah,
He said, I competed. I love how
there
that's
it
so
is.
Pete. I competed hard to keep my job, basically.
And I think once they're like, no, we're going a different direction, he's like, all right, well, fuck it. I don't want to be here then.
Yeah,
because his son, I think, is the OC at Washington, right? Maybe not OC. Maybe he's the tight ends coach or something. But
okay,
he's on the staff at Washington, I believe, because he was on Jed Fish's staff at Arizona.
Okay, he might have an advisor role on the Seahawks, from what I'm hearing from somebody back there.
Yeah, that was the official thing. But
whatever that means, does that mean he still get paid? Well, did he have years left on his deal?
I would assume.
Like I'm sure, like Vrabel's getting paid from the Titans. Do the Browns pay you then if you're coming in and you're like a consultant or whatever? How does that
Just
work?
pay him in booze and cigs.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
a 30
maybe
pack
just
at
give
the
me
end
a
of the
couple
week.
cartons a week and some dip.
30 every day.
Hot dog and a bag of chips for lunch every day.
Why not?
Hey, Mike, your natty's in the fridge. Just grab it on your way out.
He might. I don't know what he's drinking.
Any chance he'll go back to the college or go to college? I don't know if he's ever coached college, but let's say Ryan Day
D-line coach at
tricks it
Ohio
off
State.
and doesn't win with the greatest roster ever
Would they bring
assembled in
Luke?
college football. Will Mike Vrabel will be a call at Ohio State?
Man, I don't know if I don't. That's a good question. I don't know if he's a coach, so maybe. And he coached for Ohio State under Urban for a few years. The college game's so weird now. Every college coach, I feel like, is trying to get to the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know many NFL guys trying to get to college.
Ohio State.
He'd have to think about it.
NFL.
He'd have to think about it though.
I mean,
Sure he'd have to think about it.
Halfley was legit. Like, yeah, I was a head coach at BC.
This sucks.
And I took the DC job at
I hate
Green
this
Bay
shit.
because I want to fucking coach again. I'm not doing. Yeah,
Chip Kelly went and took an OC job, right?
bingo. Same.
Chip
exact
Kelly's
thing.
OC at Ohio State. I talked to him. Chip Kelly seems like he is so happy to be coaching football.
Oh, I bet.
He says, I got a room now. Like I'm coaching. I'm not. They don't got to pull me away to go do stuff. Like here, these are my guys. I get to coach football. I don't have to do anything else.
I mean, to be the head coach at Ohio State, obviously cool. It must fucking suck for Ryan.
I think everybody surrounding, everyone that's in your universe too, like they all feel it.
Even as a fan for you, it's like, this is sweet.
Better beat Michigan. Yeah.
If I have to wait until the end of November, and obviously they got Oregon
That's
and
what's
different
tough,
teams now, but it's like there isn't a game that you watch where if they win, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, if they win by 30, it's like, yeah, we should have. We should win by 30. But let's see what happens against Michigan. That's all. It's a tough spot
Well,
to be.
that's only half of it, too. And then now you have to be like, well, I got fucking 18 recruits I got to wish happy birthday on Twitter today. So guess what? If I don't do it, then these sons of bitches are either going to decommit or I'm going to lose them. Like, you know, I mean.
Why is
they're
anyone
gonna go to
coaching
Michigan.
college?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
is anyone coaching college football anymore?
Like, I got to go kiss this kid's ass, wipe his ass for him. And if I don't, guess what? He's going to Notre Dame instead.
For real.
So,
Or like I'd say every game,
Well.
most practices in every game you're hosting all these recruits too. Say you have just a heartbreaking loss at home. You got to go in and still talk to like 10, 15 recruits and their parents and try to keep them like on the wagon and act like, hey, make sure you don't go to Michigan or somewhere else.
a bunch of parents being like, listen, my son ain't getting out of bed for 150, you know, unless it's 150 or more. Like dealing with all that shit like right after a loss.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I know we were at 150. We need to get up to 200. Otherwise, my boy.
Oh, man. I've heard some college coaches say, hey, we need to educate these parents on what we're doing. A lot of these parents are messing up kids' stuff because they're coming in and getting them into bad business deals,
That's what Saban
having their
said.
kids sign terrible things. Like, I've talked to multiple coaches all over in college that are like, man, I wish these parents had some kind of like educational course they could watch, because they said usually the kids are okay. Kids are about ball, they want to play, and then some of these parents just come in with astronomical ask and things that they need and that they want, that they expect, just because some other school claims they could give it to them.
Or they just heard, they know somebody.
Oh, I heard
else.
Billy. My Billy's a 3-star and he got $500K, so I'm not going for anything less than $1 million. Like, that's it's a tough world.
I mean, that's what Saban and Miss Terry said. Like, after, I think he told a story about how they had like players and their parents over to the lake house or whatever, and they obviously split off. And Miss Terry was talking to the parents, and Saban was with the players, and Miss Terry was like, all they asked about was the NIL. And it's like, this isn't why they got into the entire business. It was to like change kids' lives, and now it's changed to like, how much money can you get my family right now in the moment with NIL?
I get it, because there's all this money floating around. So if you're a kid, you got to be like, well, no, I'd be stupid to not try to get my money.
Agreed.
But I guess there's just a way to go about it.
And if you're one of these, 5-star kids, and I think it was maybe Cam Ward, UM's quarterback, kind of just talked about, hey, NIL is good money, but if your goals are the NFL, like, that's where you're going to get the real money. So speaking of, Saban and Miss Terry, like, if you're a 5-star kid and you got it, like, you need to be. I know it's hard when it is all that money. Get your money by all means, but you need to be focused on, okay, is this the right coach? Is this the right program? Is this the right situation for me to go to, maybe away from my family or be closer to my family? It's so many
Get
things
away
that
from your family.
Yeah, need to be prioritized. I got away from home. I felt like that was a great situation for me, especially when that era it wasn't as much social media. We didn't keep in contact with as many people as these kids do now. You just had to grow up. You're out here on your own.
You had to become an adult.
You went there. I went there for a reason. Like, hey, I'm up in Connecticut. I'm in this program for a reason. I had a goal.
How did Connecticut get you, D-Bud?
They had a good pipeline. Everybody in the Big East at that point had a good pipeline to South Florida.
Older or younger than Dan?
Younger. Dan was a senior when I was a true freshman.
Okay, I mean, Dan put UConn on the map.
Yeah, that for sure.
He really did.
For sure. We had Terry Richardson. So Randy S. was a great coach, but Terry Richardson was he was a recruiter from South Florida. He was from South Florida.
From South Florida to get you to UConn.
That was his pipeline. So it was UConn, it was Rutgers, a big pipeline, Syracuse, Cincinnati, Pitt, like all those schools in the Big East had that. Because I mean, you're on the East Coast, you're still, it's a couple hour flight home. But it was good. You played against a lot of people that you grew up with, and you were playing, Division I football. Big East played a lot on ESPN. And I wasn't. It was easy to get kind of lost in the fray in South Florida. A lot of
can't imagine.
You can't just. We didn't have Huddle where you could just put your highlight tapes and send all this shit out. So get on the map. They were one of the first schools that came in and offered me, and I just kind of stuck with them.
At what point did you know, like you just said, you can get lost in the fray in South Florida? At what point did you know, like, oh, I could definitely go to the NFL? It's just more so getting to a place where I know that I can then take a step to get there.
I mean, high school, I started playing football my junior year. Basketball was,
you didn't start football till your junior year?
I mean, I played football, like, growing up, Little League, playing street
but you didn't
football.
like
organized, like,
wow.
I started playing my junior year, played quarterback. And, I felt like, I could make it. And then, you're playing against, I didn't go to a big high school, but in South Florida, you feel like, shit, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
And then once you get to the collegiate level, I played in the All-Star game, Broward versus Dade, so it was the best players against Broward, against the best players against Dade.
50 NFL players. In that game.
Exactly. So you're holding your own, you're doing your thing. So once you have that confidence, it's like wherever I go, as long UConn wasn't a powerhouse by any means, but I knew, hey, Randy Essel had some ties in the NFL. He had, he was a DB coach in the NFL. He had connections, and I'm gonna be playing against good competition. As long as I was playing against Division I competition, I wanted to play on TV. I wanted my family and friends to be able to watch me play. And but that was the thing. As long as I was locked in a good system, we had a good strength coach, good players. Damn, like you said, put the school kind of on the map. Where it's like, oh, shit, I didn't know where UConn was football wise. Didn't know where they were on the map. But it was a good decision for me to get away from home and just kind of lock in.
Some people need to get away from their family.
Yeah.
Not saying, I don't know, not you, but like I know a lot of people that their family is over involved.
Yeah.
And like the kid goes to college and he doesn't get away from his family because sometimes, I'm not saying it's wrong, but sometimes the whole family moves there and they like live with the kid. I'm like, the kid's got to figure it out at some point where they got to.
You stay kind of close to home though. How was that for you?
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half away.
I mean, you're Ohio's favorite son, though.
Yeah, that's
no
a little
way.
different.
I mean,
That's a lot, though.
I was going to Ohio State. If Ohio State offered me, I was going. There's no question in my brain.
So when Bobby Carpenter's dad moved into your guys' dorm,
Bobby went home almost every day. Bobby lived 40 minutes away. Bob would go home at 2 in the morning. He didn't care. Like Bob's going home all the time to, knock the cows around and ride the four-wheelers.
Steal a couple beers out of the fridge and drive back.
No doubt. Garage hopping people on the way back. Yeah, that's how it goes. Old school term back in the day.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, for me, I was.
So you felt
I
like
was
you
so
were
naive.
far away enough from home? Yeah.
I'd go home if I needed to. I would drive home every once in a while. My parents came to games. They didn't butt in and come in. Like I was lucky, man. I had the greatest college house. I lived with Nick Mangold and my other buddy Johnny that I grew up with.
Alligator.
Yeah, Jimmy. We had an alligator for a while, for a couple years there. But yeah, I think about that. My college house was like exactly what we didn't know at the time, but I walked around during my freshman year. We were living in the dorm. I walked all over campus trying to find a place to rent, and everything was already spoken for and taken. And I found this house that's close to campus. Boom, we got it. And it became like the central meetup spot for all of our family. After games, I would leave the locker room at Ohio Stadium and just walk. It might have been maybe a little less than a mile. We'd walk with my whole family through the parking lot back to my college house. Boom. Boozing, cornhole, everything. They all parked there. Then the parents would take off, and we'd go out, and half the team would show up and hang out on the porch.
That's sick, yeah.
And that became the place. Like Bobby took naps on I'd come in multiple times throughout the week, and Bobby's dead asleep on this big giant couch we'd have in the living room. And then after games, or especially like in the spring when you actually get to go out and have fun.
Yeah,
it became like the spot where we'd show up. All of a sudden, I open the door and there's 25 players on the porch and their family and friends. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Like it was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It worked out well. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know it when we got into it, but now looking back, I'm thinking, okay, I would have a different experience if I didn't live there.
Yeah.
But what about you, Con?
What
You went to college.
about
Where'd
me?
you go?
I went to Fairfield University.
Hell yeah.
You played football, didn't you?
In Connecticut. They did not have a football program. Ben McAdoo destroyed it.
Jeez.
Wait, he coached there?
That is a true story. The last year they had football there, Ben McAdoo was the head football coach for the Fairfield Stags, yes. I did not play sports. I smoked cigarettes and I drank.
You graduated, though, right?
I got my fucking cap right here, baby. Just to prove it.
Oh, you actually walked and everything?
Oh, yeah, I did the whole I was actually, I was like the second person to walk because it's just last name, and I happened to be
what a treat.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't a treat. I tried to leave right after, and then I had to sit through everybody else going through.
Really?
Yeah, and that hot sun in Connecticut. You know how it gets.
I know how it gets, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what they say about that Connecticut sun.
All the time. D-Bug gets
yeah.
it. Yeah, it gets steamy up there.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys been playing the wrestling game?
Oh, yeah.
I have.
Have you?
I've been
How's it going? I haven't played it. I just see clips. It looks awesome. Some of these moves are crazy.
It's a great time. Yeah. The move set, the skill set.
You guys have PS5? Is that what you play it for?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Hawk, any chance you want to reenact your running?
I can't.
Kevin Owens did this weekend, brother.
I saw that comment. I wasn't going to respond.
He legit
There's no way to
did, though.
respond. Yeah, he did. Someone told me that. They said, man, did they put sensors on you and see like you running? Because how he runs and your mannerisms are all the same. I was like, I don't think that's exactly how I run.
Well, it's pretty close.
He did get to the ring pretty quick.
Yeah, and the run and the ropes.
I need
think
to
that's
play
what-
it.
It's a great time.
The behind the scenes thing on YouTube was hysterical because everyone was just doing their thing and you just peeled tarp right away. Everyone else is fucking wearing their shirts, doing their thing.
Who, me?
Yeah,
I
you
haven't even seen that.
Oh, it's fucking hysterical.
You want me to take my shirt off? I'll take it off.
Oh, I thought he was joking with me. The guy, he goes, "Oh, you take your shirt off." I was like, "Ha!" I like laughed, and he's like,
Take your fucking shirt off.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I guess my 11-year-old son was awesome. They knew the game was coming out. We don't have a console yet that we have a TV that we have a controller, but it won't let us download the wrestling game. So I guess I actually have to buy the console.
Which console?
New one.
It's not a console. It's a smart TV, but it has like we can play PlayStation on it. We just bought a controller, and you can play. They can do all the other good games, but wrestling we haven't found.
Good move out of you. Just go to the store, buy like an Xbox controller. Be like, yeah, it's hooked up.
Go on now. I do want to
You guys figure it out. I'm too old.
The best is my 11-year-old son. He goes, a couple of days ago, he goes, yeah, people really hate you guys, huh? And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I just was looking at Jackson's TikTok or whatever, and there's people popping up saying, worst DLC pack ever.
They've been loud.
And I told him, I was like, hey, man, I said, their fans are passionate. I understand why they're upset. They think we're taking the spot. I said, they have very loyal and passionate fans. He's like, yeah, they do. And I'm like, yeah.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
It looks like, but they can dress us up in whatever they want. That's what I'm seeing.
Yes. Oh, yeah, they can make
I've seen
the
a lot of
intros.
different costumes that we have been in.
Can give you other people's intros.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of those.
Do whatever they want.
Yeah, a lot of intros of me and Connor smooching, dancing.
Oh, wait, really?
Oh, yeah.
Smooching?
Oh, yeah.
How do they get you smooching?
Because some of the intros are like that. I mean, that's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
They got it for you, too.
I'm going to eventually play.
They got
I
you
saw a couple of me dressed up.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And it wasn't exactly the way that I walk and I move, but it was the way somebody walks.
Yeah, they had you shaking your keister.
I saw. Was I twerking in there at one point?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to get a console.
You're going to have to.
Yeah, you should.
Can you guys play? Can I get on and play can I use my character and play against your character and you're doing it?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. We can play online.
This is the future.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you want to hear something real crazy? PS5, you can just talk through your controller. There's a microphone on it.
Oh, I don't have to wear the headset. D-but quick dump.
Nah, he's a pisser.
Yeah,
quick pee. Well, he might miss it because I think we're gonna head out of here. I'm gonna get back. I got some football practice tonight.
Hell yeah! Really? Head coach?
Assistant. I will be
assistant 2.
Technically, yeah, I'm kind of assistant 2 head coach, and then for flag football for my younger couple ones, I guess I'm technically the head coach. That'll be starting here shortly.
Nice.
How's the playbook?
Yeah.
What offense?
Trying to build it.
Okay.
It's only 5-on-5 flag.
What? 5-on-5?
Flag football. It's young flag. The other stuff's normal.
So
11-on-11.
Just a
tackle
center and then like 4
but the center
receivers.
goes out. Center can snap and go out. So it's gonna be sweet. So you got to find a way to set picks and block without looking like you're setting picks or blocking.
Couple drag routes with a streak down the middle.
Yeah.
Double reverse pass.
Okay, so
this is you and Pat versus me and Ty.
Yeah, that's just me just fucking slugging you in the mouth.
Oh, I threw a football off Connor's head.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
This the gameplay just looks amazing though. Watching the
Throwing
toxic
balls.
table come out, watching the clips of you guys kills me. What's the move when Ty you jumped off backwards and landed your back on somebody at some point?
Hasty drop. Yep.
I mean, I said these. Good job, D. But
I mean, look at you.
I mean, this
United
is hilarious.
States champion and
so
the Universal
sweaty.
champion.
This is awesome. I got both the titles.
Yeah, dude.
Did you have to provide sweat for the test?
I don't think I did.
That's
So
really
someone
realistic.
did though. Someone must have, right? Z.
That must have been the photos.
I need to get this pro. I need to get a gaming console.
Yeah, so we can.
D. But you still playing?
Yeah.
It actually
Hell yeah.
it looks like a lot of fun. Tell you the truth.
Even the announcers, some of the stuff they'll say about us,
really?
obviously call us a nickname and reference some things from the show. Like they dropped it with
So
Cheetah
they went
in
back
there,
in. They went back into the studio,
Oh, yeah.
and they're always updating their voice. So they did that for us.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
They had to
Thank
call
you
her
guys.
hours and hours of work.
They hate us so bad.
Yeah, so bad. But
Is there a new DLC pack of other NXT guys coming up or anything?
A couple months.
Couple months.
Yeah, they're gonna have to wait a little bit, but
Can't wait. I can't wait for it.
I mean, I assume there should be a Jelly Roll one coming.
Oh
After
yeah,
that
he
fucking
killed it.
Chokeslam.
Are you kidding me? Is he the strongest guy ever?
I think so.
That chokeslam was
Theory
awesome.
was
Like it.
8 feet off the ground.
Theory 250.
Oh yeah.
Bingo. So you do the math.
Austin Theory is jacked.
Yes, he is.
Did Jelly Roll lose a bunch of weight?
Yeah.
He was starting to. No, because he ran a 5K, con man. He ran a 5K for Bert and Tom, and I believe he said he was on the track.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
I don't know if he's on a whole new.
Well, they were
lifestyle.
making fun of him on Saturday night. They were calling him Belly Swole, so I don't know if.
Who's that Theory?
Theory.
I believe
yeah.
it
can't
was
say
there.
that.
Sack of bones.
That's what I
You
said.
can't do that.
I know. It was
Well,
despicable.
Theory
Well, he
is-
paid for it. He paid for it.
He did pay for it, but Theory is absolutely jacked.
Yes, he is.
Here it is.
I mean, Jelly Roll. Just that alone would hurt.
Get the 5-knuckle shuffle,
Look at
too, after
Miz.
this.
Look at Miz.
This is jacked up.
We'll get him.
Send him up. Jelly Roll's the best.
Oh.
Such a fucking weapon.
Yeah, and then right in his face, obviously.
Jelly Roll, listening to that guy talk and listening to other people talk about him, is he the nicest, most caring human alive?
For shoot.
He feels like
Dude,
you
his
see the speech?
Hulu doc was awesome.
Really? I haven't even seen it.
He goes to the same prison he went to wherever he went to prison at, and he does Thanksgiving dinner with them every year, and it's
It's his whole life is always in service of others, or just trying to let people know he appreciates them, right? Right, Con? Don't you think that? Isn't that kind of your life?
My life?
Yeah.
That is nothing like my life.
You're taking care. That's why you watch some of the homeless people in your binoculars. You're trying to help them out.
I haven't been really checking in on them lately, but they have been hanging out on the other side of the building, unfortunately, which kind of stinks.
What do you mean?
They're on the other side of my building.
Like in the building?
No.
They renting rooms?
No. They I mean, I tried to get something going for them, but boy, the people who run my building did not like that whatsoever.
Okay. You trying to like set up some Olympics with the homeless people downstairs or something?
I'm not doing bum fights. I'm not doing
I didn't
that.
say that.
That's what you were insinuating. That's what you were
I've never even heard of
insinuating.
that. I don't even know what that is.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But no, they're
It's one of your phone tags.
haven't been seeing them as much as of late.
Okay. All right.
It's been hot.
Yeah, it has been very hot.
Been hot out.
Got to go to the canal. Got to find some shade. Be by the water.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, boys, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for
good to see you,
thanks
man.
For
Yeah,
walking
good to
with
see you,
us. Felt
Holger.
good.
Great to
Football
see
season
you
is here.
again.
When we know we see these teams fighting each other multiple times every single day, we know pretty close to kickoff.
And we got Hard Knocks tonight.
Hard
That's
Knocks
kinda
tonight,
like a
Chicago
staple.
Bears. How many days till NFL football?
30 days and then
till college football.
18 days.
Oh, 18 till college football.
Yeah, it is actually.
That's the Dublin, Ireland game?
That is the Dublin game.
Can't wait. We are here. We're here, D-Butt. This is it. Appreciate
Made
it.
it.
Tone Diggs, real quick. Let's check with Hammer Dahn Studios. Tone Diggs, sorry, bud.
What do you want to check in with, Edge?
I want to check in and see how you're doing, pal. I'm sorry. I didn't throw it back there a whole lot today.
I'm doing great. What do you want? What do you want? Some corrections or?
Yeah, I do need some corrections from you, actually.
The mountain. I believe Connor said from Serbia.
Yeah.
Ty, you corrected him and said he's from where?
I thought Iceland, but I don't know. If
I
that's
believe
correct.
that's. I didn't get complete confirmation, but I believe he is the great grandson of Magnus Magnuson.
Magnus for Magnuson.
Yeah. World strongman, 100-time winner. So I believe that's how that works.
Yeah.
And
Created the Atlas Stone.
I do agree that they should climb the Eiffel Tower. James Kingston, 2015, he was a British daredevil. He climbed the Eiffel Tower, so it can be done. Okay, so let's just do that.
Good to know.
Okay. Is that all the corrections?
U.S. women's soccer's about to win.
Gold?
No, they're in the semis.
Okay.
So they're two go to the gold game.
Let's go.
Okay.
And then France beat Canada in basketball.
Wow. Sorry about it.
Oh no, folks.
Wow, people thought it was Canada, USA.
Oh no.
Second favorite to win it.
Dylan Brooks and Jamal Murray had just absolutely terrible games. They're getting roasted on the internet.
Yeah.
right now.
A lot of good
Jamal
Jamal
Murray.
Murray memes.
Yeah, be a lot of Jamal Murray on the timeline today.
Is Steve Nash the head coach? Who's the coach?
I think Steve Nash is the head coach.
Yeah.
Is he really?
It's him or Trudeau.
Oh, Trudeau. That's right. Prime Minister, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Didn't he play in the NBA for a while?
It's not Tom Ford.
And then that's
G
Scandal.
League.
We sure it's not Tom Ford.
Rob Ford.
Rob Ford.
Tom
R.I.P.
Ford, the designer?
Makes good suits.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's got a wet jumper too.
Wait, Rob Ford, the old guy that was...
Rob Ford is unfortunately dead, Tony.
Alright.
He passed. He passed.
Well, sometimes the corrector needs to be corrected.
He's got plenty to eat at home.
Coaching from the grave.
What are you talking about, Ty?
Great callback, Ty.
It's a good video of Rob Ford, who God rest his soul. You should look it up if you hadn't seen it.
Yeah. It's pretty witty. Pretty quick comeback, Tone. Tone, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't throw it back there
All good,
as
brother.
much, man. I appreciate you, though. Guys,
Appreciate
appreciate
you.
you guys. Everyone in the back, thank you guys. Pat will be back in the seat tomorrow when he's back from ESPN, correct?
Yes.
I will join you guys from the attic. Can't wait to embark on this next football season with you guys. It's going to be awesome. Appreciate everybody watching, everybody listening wherever you are. We will be back tomorrow. I'll be in Ohio. Pat will be here. See you tomorrow.